Hello and welcome to Versus Live. I'm Ross Merriam.
I'm Drew Davis. Wait, what am I doing here? How did I get here?
Who took my false teeth?
I know how I got here. I got my marbles from Tuesday to defend.
We have Jim here all this week on Versus Live. Played against Corey on Tuesday and managed to take that one down while Corey had the marbles because I haven't beaten Corey in like 3 months.
Yes, I'm the invader here. I'm here to take marbles from everyone. So I had to be Corey first.
Bagger coming up from up north, just coming down below the Mason-Dixon line to take all our stuff.
Yep.
This is really not fair.
Yep. Bring it home to New York.
Yeah. And we do have Justin in the booth. Say what's up, Justin.
What's up, Justin?
Justin will be taking all of your questions, comments, concerns, and burns in the chat. Plenty of burns today, please. Make sure to tag at Start of the Game so he can see them and send his favorites over to us. So we're going to be running a little bit of a similar, show structure to what we did on Tuesday, or what Jim and Corey did. We're going to be playing a little bit of Modern to start out. The first match is going to be decks that both Jim and I would strongly consider for a Modern tournament where we're playing, this weekend. So you're going to get sort of our glimpse into the metagame. Then we're going to play a couple fun decks that we like, a little off-the-wall Modern action in round 2. In round 3, we're going to have a little bit of a grudge match. I'll explain more about that when we get to it, but Jim has a bit of a score to settle from a match that he and I played many years ago now.
Yes.
And we're going to see if he can get a little bit of redemption for, I would say, maybe a disappointing showing.
I should have won that match. I should have won that tournament. I should have won it.
He didn't.
Every night I think about it before I go to sleep.
Oh my God, I screwed up too. I was going to bring the trophy from it.
Oh,
that was my plan the entire time.
Wow. He's already making mistakes, folks. He's falling apart at the seams.
You distracted me with playing tennis this morning.
It's true. He did beat me in tennis. That is fair.
That was a given.
That's fair. That's fair.
You weren't getting me there.
Yeah.
You got to do your damage here.
That's fair. That's fair, though. It's fine. I tired you out, and now we're ready to battle the real battle.
Yeah, we're ready to go. So we're going to start with our picks for this weekend for Modern, and I'm going to be playing 4-color creativity. I really like the way this deck has evolved. It's not doing any Velomachus stuff anymore like it used to, so you get to cut all those time walks and play just more interactive cards, be much more of a control deck. And then a card, one of the new additions is Hard Evidence. Great card at stopping early Ragavans and giving you multiple targets for creativity. So if they have a removal spell, you can target the clue. If they have a artifact removal spell, you can target the crab, and you can sort of cater what you need to what your opponent has in their deck. So really good, sneaky good card in the deck.
Yeah. And
a card that I liked when Modern Horizons 2 came out. I thought it was a sort of a sneaky, powerful card. It just looked and read so much like the Raven Inspector.
For sure.
So happy to see that here. And then, the counter spells, the Planeswalkers, it's all just good control stuff. And there's very little in the deck that is dedicated to the combo. It's just the mana base having to be mountain-centric for Dwarven Mine, and then playing 1 Emrakul for creativity, and then 2 Nahiris, which is a functional card in your control game, but also a necessary because there's only 1 Emrakul, and you need to be able to get that Emrakul out of your hand. Prismatic Command can do that, but you need a little bit more. You want a little bit more. And so Nahiris do that, and also just find the Emrakul. So,
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, sort of another combo piece. So those 7 slots are really what you're dedicating to the combo. The rest of the deck can just play a control game, which I really like. And so it's a deck I think is very well positioned, right now, especially if people are going to keep playing things like Elementals, just like grinding out a game. Solitude is kind of annoying because it deals with Emrakul, but
true.
Teferi and other things can play around it. You've got some counter spells. Just do good things.
Cutting Lorehold is pretty big, I think. Like the whole Time Walk package, it looks really cool when you pull it off, but the reality of both the deck building constraint and the whiff potential, you're just going to Lorehold sometimes and miss, and you say go, on Modern, and it hurts sometimes. Yeah. So.
Also, sometimes you're going to put a 5/5 into play and they're going to kill it.
Right. Sure. Exactly. Yeah.
It's just a lot flimsier than Emrakul. I did like the idea of having the alternate infinite turn plan by Ren and Sixing up to an emblem.
That's cool.
Yeah. But definitely not as strong as the way the deck is built now.
For sure.
So what are you on in match 1?
So I'm Rhinoing. So this deck is it's really, really cool in that it's sort of like a combo deck. We got our Rhinos ready to go. We're in the Cascade Rhino deck, Bow and Outburst, of course, crashing footballs. And this deck is really cool because it sort of plays like a pseudo combo control deck where you're kind of like cascading. You're doing the kind of the broken cascade thing where you're cascading into 0 drops, but the concessions aren't really there. In Living End or decks like it, you're playing all these kind of weird cards. You're kind of just doing all this weird stuff where this deck is just playing a bunch of 1 and 2 mana spells where it shouldn't be allowed to, but with Dead Gone, Fire Ice, Brazen Borrower, Stomp, there's just so many. Force Negation. The deck plays basically just a normal game of Magic with cards that are just a little weirder than usual. and then just has this ability to just like put 8 power and play on the end step, which is awesome too.
Or sometimes 10 with Shardless HP.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so but you can just do a lot of power at once and kind of turn the corner really quick while also playing a control game as well. You get some Murktides in there too. That card's freaking huge.
Yeah, another just good threat to be able to pair in the deck that also generally costs 2 mana.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, right. It's so funny how all my cards cost 2, and the cascade restriction literally means you can't play 2 drops. So definitely cheating the rules a little bit, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, we saw quite a bit of cascade decks do well in tournaments last weekend. So definitely a deck to keep an eye on. And Teferi is going to be a bit of an issue for you in this first matchup.
Yes.
Force of Negation, the major thing I have to worry from your deck. So
yes.
Those 2 cards definitely really important from our 2 sides, but should be a nice, interactive, good match of Magic.
Yeah, it's very scary for, like, obviously, it turns off my Cascade cards as well as defending your combo. It's just so good in combo decks. Like, I'd played it in the Saheeli combo decks in the past, and just, like, having the ability to have his cards really, really good and can buy you time, and then also they just can't interact with you at all. It's so good. On top of being a hate piece for my deck, too. So,
yeah. And in my deck, it lets me cast the creativity in your end steps.
Yes.
You just don't have the window to interact with Emrakul at all.
Exactly.
Okay,
right,
you've got the marble, so you have the marble, so I get to be on the play.
Okay, I didn't know.
Did Corey not give you the play on Tuesday?
No.
He made you roll?
He rolled, yes.
Wow. You should have.
Didn't matter, still won, but
you should have had the play. That's how we always do it. Corey just cheated you.
I mean,
what a jerk.
Got to cheat harder next time, right?
Yeah. My hand is a little tragic. I have way too many prismatic endings, and that's not a great card in this matchup.
Kill Rhino.
Yeah. Not great.
Yeah.
Kill a Rhino.
A Rhino,
Yeah. I do have a Teferi in this hand. I can cast it on turn 3, but that's literally the only good part about this hand. I also have the awkward combo of Island Dwarf in mine.
Ooh, yeah.
The one island, so this one will go back.
Yeah, my hand's not great either. We only have 2 lands. We have maybe like 2 Bone Crushers, show you whatever. 2 Bone Crushers, we have Footfalls in the hand. We put with the tap land. I can't.
Yeah, no Cascade card to draw into.
Yeah, just like not a very exciting hand. And making land drops is very, very important with this deck, so got to make those first 3 at least.
Unsurprisingly important to do in a Cascade deck.
Yes.
Get to 3 mana.
Got to go to 3, It's funny, too, because like Fire Ice is a card that just came into Modern, and Modern Horizons love that card. And the sad part of Fire Ice is they changed the rules so you can't put it on Isochron Scepter, which was a huge thing back in the day. It's like they were the best card to go on Scepter. And by changing the rules like that, you can't put it on Scepter, but now you can play it in your Cascade deck. So I guess there's a little...
You can't play it with your Jegantha companion, though.
That is true, actually. Yes, the one generic symbols, which is a pretty fun interaction. All right, let's try this again. Both on 6.
Just how we drew it up. I like that groan. That didn't seem like a confident groan. Well, unfortunately, I'm groaning too because my only land is Dwarven mine.
I think we're gonna keep. I mean, on the draw, right?
Yep.
I'm on the draw, right? we can probably make this work on the draw. It's close. We obviously have better tools this time. Probably would be getting rid of this one. I think we can keep it. We're gonna keep. Just gonna watch Ross struggle around here on 4 cards.
I'm going to 5.
I know. I'm just foretelling a little bit here.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
We'll see just how clairvoyant you are. Down to 5. Okay. That last card definitely saved me. So we're definitely keeping this hand. And I am going to put this one back, I think.
Or try 5.
Oh, yeah, I'll go to 5. I have to put those 2 back.
I come in here, and Corey's cheating the die rolls. Ross is just keeping cards.
I'll play Arid Mesa and pass.
All right, we'll draw. That's interesting. Misty go.
End step, crack the Mesa. And here's the one I'm looking for. There we go. Got a Ketria Triome. 19.
Nice one.
been surprisingly impactful in Modern, these triomes.
Yeah, like just having one in your mana base just like changes so much, you know. Like it really is. When they first were printed, I was like, yeah, I guess these will see play like a little bit in 3-color decks, you know. But like aside from the factor of them just being good mana picks, saying it's a very low opportunity cost to have one in your deck. Obviously, in your deck, it's an extra mountain and allows you to really like fulfill that. If you're playing a blue deck, Cryptic Commander, Archmage's Charm, you'd have all your blues. So of course, no Esper Triome is a little tough, you know. I definitely don't like uncompleted cycles.
Well, I'm sure they'll be completed eventually.
Yeah.
You know, return to Ikoria that everyone's clamoring for.
Yes.
I've got a basic mountain and Renin 6.
It's fine.
I will plus it to return Arid Mesa and pass the turn.
19.
19 all.
I'll get my own Triumph.
I have 2 Triumphs in my deck.
2? You have one. You have one
4-color deck. I have Rogren and Ketria. But I needed green mana for this Renin 6.
All right, so Renin 6 is a little annoying. A little personal howling mine here.
Yeah, easy way to undo my mulligan. You're good.
Absolutely. Sorry, just habit. All right, so
for better or worse, we're very trusting here on Versus Live.
Yeah, clearly. All right, so we're just going to just play Misty.
Ignore the fact that I have 8 cards in my hand right now.
All right, and then we'll take a
Sand and go. Okay, playing Arid Mesa and crack it to 18. And we're definitely going to go to 16.
This is my no to fairy, please turn.
Go to Sacred Foundry and cast a fairy.
Gross. All right, I'll crack in response.
So I'm at 16, you're at 18.
Yeah. Guess I can just get a forest. There's some value in being above 15 and beat a Miracle Emrakul attack. Do you have forest? Come on, forest. Where are you? There it is. Went right by it. And I'm going to. You've not used Renin 6's turn, right?
Correct.
All right, so this doesn't really do a ton anyway, so we're just gonna bounce the Renin 6. Get our little adventure zone here. I think it's about time for another adventure.
Okay. I will plus the Teferi and pass the turn.
All right, so just casting Borrower dice to Renin 6, but we obviously need to find some way to deal with this Teferi now, and 5 is kind of a lot. It's kind of a lot, so play Island. I think we're just casting Bone Crusher Giant. And we're going to be pretty sad if there's just a dwarf into creativity here, but not too much we can do about it. Teferi on the play with no force negation is pretty tough.
Yep. Good after the Bone Crusher.
Oh yeah, you're good. Crushing Bones.
Plus.
Mm-hmm. Sure, it bounces to my hand.
No, I'm good. You're up.
All right, you have 4 cards.
Yep.
All right, it's untap and draw. All right, first things first. Coming in.
Fairy to 2.
Ooh, that's kind of nice. That is kind of nice. All right, so Ross didn't play Renin 6 again, and has a variety of mana up. But I'm unfortunately forced to just do things in my main phase anyway, so I can't really play around too much. So we're going to cast Prismari Command. We're going to shock Teferi, and we're going to attempt to make a treasure.
I'll respond by sacking Arid Mesa.
Yep, 15.
15.
Try to
We'll get a dwarf in mind, make a dwarf.
Yep.
And I'll creativity the dwarf.
Yeah, this game. Yeah, so Teferi doing it all there.
Get my Emrakul.
Show me the Emrakul. You shady Versus Live folks. Can't trust you as far as I can throw you. All right, sure.
I've even got a bolt to finish you off.
Ooh, look at that. So I would have no permanence. Borrower would still be hanging out. It'd be like on the table, you know.
Yeah.
So mulligan to 5. Not even close. It's very stuff.
Yeah, the 5 I kept was just 2 lands, rent, fairy, creativity.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
If you had forced the rent, I might have been in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, my hand was like only okay. It was just like borrower, stomp. I had Cascade cards and the command, but I don't think I can really go to 5 like looking for a force or anything like that. So
yeah, it's hard because that's sort of the dynamic. Like you really need force if I have Teferi. If you don't, then you can break up the combo with a lot of your removal with petty theft on anything I target.
Yeah, and the command's good too because it covers both the clue and the creature, which is nice as well. So.
So sometimes, I'll get up to 5 mana and have 2 things in play. I can target and creativity for 2 with only the 1 Emrakul, so that way a removal spell doesn't break it up.
Exactly.
Because even if you get rid of 1 target, as long as the spell has at least 1 target remaining, it will resolve to the best of its ability.
Yes, I played a lot of the Teamer creativity deck in Historic.
Yeah.
With Coma in it, played the deck a lot. There's a lot of weird times where you often target their stuff too, where like say you have like if for X is 3. Target 2 of your things and then just happen to target their 1 thing and just downsize it to whatever it might be. If it's a core Spirit Dancer with some stuff on it, or just like a larger creature, you just spin the wheel and try and find something smaller. So a lot of cool stuff you can do with it.
Yeah, definitely a cool spin on the polymorph template. You'll be on the play for this game, I presume?
Yep.
All right, Jim will be able to get to Cascade before I can cast a fairy. Very important dynamic.
Yeah, this one's not really going to work. I got 2 pair. We're playing poker later tonight, so I can put some in my pocket for later. And 2 pair, but
not the best of pairs.
2 lands also, yeah. So, mulligan.
I will keep my hand.
Yep. Of course, the old adage, you get to mulligan, not have to mulligan. So Modern's a format where definitely having a good starting 7 or 6 or whatever, a good starting hand is very important.
Yeah. Usually when my opponent, if I'm playing Modern and my opponent's like agonizing over their hand, I'm hoping that they keep.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm always happier when they keep the mediocre hand than when they mulligan and just find the nut 5.
Right, as you saw in that game, like you were on 5 in the game, which is not even close. So, all right.
It's gotten a little bit less like that in Modern these days because the format's more interactive.
For sure, yeah.
But there's still the threat of like turn 1 Ragavan if you don't have an answer to that or.
Oh boy. All right. So again, not really great. This card doesn't feel super good in this matchup. Obviously, this card isn't good. And then like these remaining cards they're fine, but we're obviously lacking a piece here. I think I might just be going to 5. Just not really thrilled with how this is going to play out. And then we need things. We're also on the play this game too, so yeah, we're going to mulligan. Just a 2-lander. It's like a Dead Gone, a Murktide, just hanging out, not doing too much. There are force negations in his deck, right, Director? We got some force negations in his deck. Maybe, hopefully, somewhere. Check the list.
It's saying there's 4 in there.
I took them out while you were in the bathroom.
Yeah, clearly. All right. On 5.
Like I said, we're very trusting here on Versus Live.
Yes. All right. I guess we're keeping this one. So we're going to ship that one. And honestly, probably here too. I don't know if we need. Maybe it's actually just this. So yeah, so we ship these 2. Keep this. It's pretty good 5. I'm pretty happy with this. So goodbye to those. We'll play a Misty. Say go.
I will play a Ketria Triumph and pass.
I will do the same. So I'm at 19.
Fetching for Ketria Triumph.
Yep.
Jim learned after game 1 that the secret was the Ketria Triumph on turn 1. Now we're on even playing field.
Top card, obviously. All right, so we have an interesting choice. All right, so we're gonna say go. We're gonna upkeep, ice it. So love a good Rashad import in my life. Draw for ice.
Yep. I'll draw for turn.
To turn off most avenues for Ross's turn.
I will play
6, no remand.
Turn and pass.
All right, unsap. All right, we just got a Misty go.
End step, crack fetch.
Yeah, 19.
Yep.
Getting the other triumph.
Oh, yeah.
Such good mana. Such good mana.
Where are you, Roger Triome?
Symbols everywhere, mountains everywhere.
Oh. Like I said, where are you, Roger? There we go. Yeah. Go to my turn?
Yep.
Shock into Steam Vents, go to 17.
Yep.
I will play Hard Evidence.
Crab people.
Crab people.
That resolves.
Crab people. So I get a crab. I get a clue.
We brought this for clues.
Uh-oh.
Get a clue, Ross. Come on now.
Justin, can you grab me a clue? Yeah.
That's our bad, folks.
Yeah.
We asked for every token except for that one.
Yeah, we've got 37 tokens over here. I'll just use a Ryan Overture Treasure for now.
Okay.
We'll get the clue straightened out in a second, and then I will pass the turn.
All right, so I think we're going to pop off here. We're just going to Brazen Bar, or sorry, Petty Theft the crab people.
Petty Theft the crab people. That's fine.
On an adventure. Wish I had 2 triumphs. All right, so I'll crack this and go to 18.
Yep.
And we'll get ourselves, let's see, probably a breeding pool. Breeding pool tapped. You got 1 million cards in hand, right?
6 of them.
That's close to 1 million. All right, so untap. It's nice if you can play like a little bit of a flash game with the borrower with buy one outburst. We can, immediately man up and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. It's an interesting one. All right, I think we're just foothills go. Teferi means a happy day for me. I can play Magic. I can interact. I'm not just playing Pokemon over here.
Okay, I've got this island. There's our clue. Thank you.
Get Max in there.
And I'm going to cast a Ren 6.
So Ren's obviously annoying, but it's a card draw engine and a way to answer my Brazen Borrower. But so many cards in hand. I think we're going to let this one ride here. It's fun.
Okay, I will plus and return the Tarn.
Yep.
Pass the turn.
All right, so we're going to 3 and 1. All right, we're going to crack. We're going to go to
17 all.
17. Complete our Tron here with our Stomping Ground.
You've got the Teamer Triome and then one dual land of each of the pairs.
Yep.
Sulfur Falls is a little awkward. It doesn't match.
Yeah, it's not quite, but I think Triump's like picking up a slack, though. It's got the island and the mountain types. All right, and then, so we're going to cast the borrower here. We can at least attack Ren 6, and then if Ren wants the minus on, it's fine. Ren still kills the Ren effectively, and I think we just also need to just be doing things and trading resources. So, cast borrower.
Resolves.
Untap.
Yep.
And draw. Okay. And we'll fire in at the old Ren. And I need to think for a moment. So you got 5 cards.
6 really with the Tarn.
Right, yeah. I guess we're just gonna finish it off, or attempt to finish it off. I guess we'll fire up a Stomp here.
I am going to attempt a delay on your Stomp.
Delay. Ooh, that is a cool one. That interacts with adventure, if I can cast either side.
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
It says if a spell is countered this way, exile it. So the spell gets exiled, but the spell is on the card. I'm thinking you can.
I would think it would be either. If you Bloodbraid Elf, you can cast both sides too. So I would assume you can choose. I can choose to cast what I want. So all right, that's gonna be fine then. So Bone Crusher's gonna go into suspend, not adventure, suspend land. That better, sure.
Yeah.
And then
Black is for loyalty and -1/-1 counters. White's for everything else.
Okay. And we'll pass the turn.
Get a little bit of the heat off of us here. And I've got several ways I can try to answer this Brazen Borrower. Do I want to keep this Wren around that badly is the real question, because just cashing in my Wren is the easiest way to do it. You got 2 cards in hand over there?
3.
3.
Just 3.
I don't think I really need the Wren around. So, yeah, I'm going to cash in the Wren, answer the Borrower, just trying to get the heat off me. I'm going to play Hard Evidence again.
Resolves.
Okay, get myself another clue. Redeploy this crab token.
It's so funny how, like, Inspector and Hard Evidence, they just look so simple, but it's just so much material for 1 mana.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll play the Scalding Tarn you know about, and then I'll pass the turn.
All right, you get 4 now or 5?
4.
4. All right. So we untap. We suspend down to 2. Draw. All right. I mean, now there's nothing on the board that actually like needs to be immediately dealt with, so we can kind of just chill for a moment here. So I think we're just going to say go.
Okay. On your end step, I'm going to crack a clue.
Sure.
And then I would like to go to my turn.
Yep.
I'm going to play a Dwarven Mine, get a Dwarf.
Gimli, son of Galoin.
Then I would like to cast a Nahiri the Harbinger.
Nahiri's doing a good job here of being a, not like the most threatening threat, but also just a threat too. Nahiri's a little scary. You got 4 in hand, 2 mana up. I think Nahiri's fun.
Okay. I will plus Nahiri.
Mm-hmm.
Discard an Arid Mesa, draw a card.
Yep.
I will then pass the turn.
All right. Well, we are finally going to cast a Cascade card at your end step. And we'll vow an Outburst. Cascade trigger.
Cascade trigger is good.
Let's see what we got in here. Murktide. Events. All right. Lucky.
I'll sack a Tarn with the Footfalls in the stack, go to 16.
Mm-hmm. I'll bottom these.
Yep. So get another Dwarven Mine, get a Dwarf, and I will attempt a remand on the Footfalls.
All right, so we've got 2 dwarves, a crab, and a clue, and 3 cards behind. So we're a little scared of creativity. However, without these rhinos, I'm not really feeling very happy about things. So I'm pretty sure we're going to defend here. It's 2 and 2. And then might just be shoving, honestly. We can attack and we can potentially kill Nahiri if Ross is okay with Nahiri dying, which will tell us a lot, but might tell us a lot at a point where it's too late to like actually do anything about it. But we're gonna force the remand, and we're going to pitch a Murktide.
Yep.
So
Force is good, Crashing Footfall is good, so grab yourself a couple of rhinos.
Yes, I will.
Now they're 5/4s.
They are 5/4s.
Yeah. And you can go to your turn.
All right, so we're going to tap. Go down to 1 on Bone Crusher Giant. And all right, here they come. Attacking Nahiri.
Yeah. And I really want to be able to use Nahiri to deal with one of these rhinos, so I'm willing to throw away a Dwarf to keep it on 3 potentially. So I'll block each. So I need to throw away both Dwarves, right? Because these things trample.
8 trample. So
Yep. I need to throw away all 3 creatures to get it to have it stay at 3. Maybe that is not good enough. Especially because you can just finish shit off with a burn spell anyway. Or at least get it below 3 with a burn spell. Then it would still live.
Interesting spot here.
Yeah, definitely an interesting spot. You get 2 cards back. Also, if you have Gone, you could bounce the Crab, and then the Nahiri still dies, no matter how I block. That's kind of tough. There's just so much random burn in that deck. There's Stomp, there's Dead Gone, Brazen Borrower will do it too. Fire Ice will do it. Yeah, so I don't think I can throw away that much trying to protect this Nahiri, actually, as much as I would like to. So I'm just going to block with a Crab.
Okay, so right now Nahiri we will be taking 5 damage total and going to 1.
Yeah.
So now the fear here is that Ross has creativity and can cast it for 3 next turn, which would be very, very difficult to stop. Let's see here. That would be doing, you're at 15 currently. It's 4-8. I think we're just going to push some damage here, honestly. So I think we're actually going to cast another Violent Outburst. Going to use it in the intended use of the card. So we're going to Outburst.
Yep.
And we're going to Cascade. Could be anything.
Yeah.
Could even be some Rhinos. There it is. All right, so Rhinos. Cast this, and then of course +1 to the power.
Yep.
So that'll finish off
here
here.
and Crab down.
Yep. So now you got a bunch of Rhinos in play, and we've got Bone Crusher looming. Got a card in hand, and we're gonna say go. And see if we can beat Emrakul the old-fashioned way, if it is as such.
Got a little punished for how I've done this, but I will attempt to do what I can. So I've got a Teferi. That will bounce 1 Rhino. Draw. Ugh, God. Getting very punished.
I think that the Teferi's interactions are in Modern some of the most egregious ones, with like Suspend and like Cascade and all these cards that like they just don't get to do what they're supposed to do based on the virtue of like their odd timing restrictions.
And then I'm just going to pass the turn.
Poor Bone Crusher Giant. Never saw it coming. Never saw it coming. All right, so can't cast that. Draw for turn.
Yep.
Okay. So we got Ross at 15. 3-man up, 4 cards.
I have myself at 16. Am I off?
How many fetches?
I've got a 19. I've got 19 to 17 to 16. I fetched twice and I shocked for the steam vents.
So it's a shock, fetch.
Oh, but I ran in 6 to fetch back. So so it'd be 3 fetches.
There you go. So
my bad.
15, 17, right?
Yeah, 15, 17.
Okay. Okay. So definitely interested in doing damage here. Obviously, killing Teferi is like kind of nice, but it's at a point now where like we're sort of all in anyway. So like killing Teferi's secondary, just killing Ross. I think if Ross had creativity, probably would have went for it last turn. It's pretty easy just to spread out multiple targets and resolve it and get Emrakul in play. So I think we're just gonna get a little bit aggressive here, and just go face. Crash of Rhinos.
Think I want to be able to survive 2 burn spells, so I'm gonna double block one of the Rhinos and just take 10.
Yep.
I'll go to 5.
All right, so Ross is at 5. Dwarves are down, and at this point, we're just gonna keep this because there's no way to have an effect on the game later on anyway, even barring Teferi. So we'll just say go. Sean, I'm sorry. It's a fire play. I'm gonna cast actually. You're at 5.
I'm at 5 left.
5, 4 cards. I think we just cast this now, actually. All right, so I'm gonna Prismari command. I'm gonna target you for 2 damage, and I'm going to draw 2, discard 2.
Yeah, that'll put me to 3.
Could kill the artifact here if we're scared of creativity, but like Ross already showed us last turn that you don't think he has it. You could just draw a card response anyway, and like realistically, like I think we can beat an Emrakul here. So with Ross already at 5, going to 3, so this resolves.
Yep.
So we're gonna loot. Let's draw 1, 2, and we're gonna discard. I think of these 2. Discard Pool, Foothills, or Footfalls. I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
You're at 3, and you're up.
Okay. On your end step, I'm going to Prismari Command, deal 2 to the Rhino that has 2 damage on it, and make a treasure.
Yep.
Go to my turn.
It's going to be a close one, folks.
Yeah, I will plus that to Teferi. I will play a new Teferi. I'll bounce a Rhino.
Yep.
This one goes here. You have me at 3.
Trey. That horn's got your name on it.
I will pass the turn.
All right, so clearly something's going on here. Draw. 3. I mean, no fetches available, no blockers. All right, attack you.
I'll sack this treasure for a white and prismatic ending the Rhino.
Ross has demolished the entire zoo. All right, so play mountain.
Yeah, I like seeing more lands.
Say go.
Okay, on your end step. So I clearly don't have creativity, but now I don't really have other targets. And I don't want to go to 2 to fetch for another dwarf. You can't do anything on my end step, so I'm not really under any pressure.
I'm playing
here.
Pokemon right now, all right? I'm just sitting
I
here.
think we just wait on this clue.
Looking at my prize cards, waiting for my turn.
Plus this Teferi.
Yep.
Play another Teferi. Yeah, maybe I just wait since you're not doing anything. Maybe I can cash this for another card. How much like it's odd because Jim clearly doesn't have anything, isn't doing anything, but I am under some pressure to end the game before you find 2 burn spells off the top. Another Cascade card isn't very good since I have Teferi out. If you're holding a Cascade card and you draw a burn spell, you could kill this Teferi and cast it and get 2 more Rhinos. That could be pretty devastating. Holding another Cascade card is definitely something you could have. You would have played Brazen Borrower. You would have bounced Clue, play it. You would have, I guess I had mana up, so you would have just played it.
Yeah.
You would have definitely, stomped me and played a Bone Crusher Giant, or stomped Teferi and played Bone Crusher. So, yeah, Cascade card makes sense. It's probably not another land since you only discarded 1 land to the command. I think you would have kept a Footfalls in hand even, just in case you could deal with Teferis. Yeah, I will lead out the other Teferi.
Sure.
Start pumping this
We
one
just killed
up.
the Teferi, folks.
Plus it to 5 and pass the turn.
All right, draw. Your turn.
That is an interesting one. I'll play a Wrenn and 6. A little awkward because I don't really want to crack fetches, but if I draw a Prismari Command, it'll be nice. I'll return a Scalding Tarn and play it just in case and pass the turn. Or I guess this has to go too, right?
Wrenn and 6, Wrenn and 6, Wrenn and 6.
Did you draw a Brazen Borrower?
I did draw a Brazen Borrower. All right. I guess I'll make you cast Teferi again. It's probably the most reasonable spot again. Target the clue. If you sacked a response, they would lose the borrower anyway. You would just draw a card regardless. And I might even be correct to just crack the clue anyway, honestly. So you are saving it for creativity, but I'll petty theft that.
Yep.
On an adventure.
Now you don't technically have to cast it yet.
That's true. You're up.
Yeah, I'll play Teferi.
Outburst.
Yep.
All right. You have one left, right?
Yeah.
Hope so. This is on top. This is on bottom.
You get 2 more rhinos. I will be bouncing one of them.
Yep.
Draw a card.
Why not finish the job for me, buddy?
I will bolt the other one and tick down the Ren to finish it.
God.
And then I will pass the turn.
All right. And then we can get some burn spells maybe to kill this Teferi. Nope, indeed. I mean, like, I don't think Ren 6 is ever leaving the battlefield. So, is it just trading a borrower for you to minus it and then not get a land to your hand? Lands are pretty thin because you have just like most of it's borrowing command value. I think I'm just casting it. Yeah. All right. I could. No, I'm not gonna guess it. If I draw another one, I can guess 2 at once. So I'll just play Tarn as I go.
Okay. I will plus Ren, return Mesa, plus Teferi, play a tapped Steam Vents, and pass the turn.
16. Now I have Team Urtron. Steam Vents, Breeding Pool, Stomping Ground. With our powers combined.
Pretty good.
All right. Okay. I'm going to delay it again here. I will attempt to stomp your Teferi.
Yeah, that resolves.
All right. Also on an adventure. And 5 cards. That's so many cards. I guess we just say go. Yep. Ross is at 3, so obviously borrower looking pretty nice here. We end step it. It can't be Ren 6'd. Really has just an ungodly amount of cards in hand. You know, I mean, there are definitely a number of lands in the Ren 6s, but
I'm gonna sack this clue.
There we go.
I'm gonna cast a Hard Evidence.
Sure.
Get another clue and another crab.
Yep.
And then I will play a tapped Stomping Ground. Plus Ren without a target.
Mm-hmm.
And pass the turn.
All right. Casper's more.
Before you untap, I'll bolt the borrower.
Sure. This borrower's dead. Untap. All right. I will cast a Bone Crusher Giant.
Sure.
I will cast Shardless Agent. Cascade. That shuffles. All 4 of my Crashing Footballs are in the graveyard, so.
Yep.
And then I'll pass turn.
On your end step, I'll crack this other clue.
Sure. I feel like Ross is doing me the courtesy of missing for like basically about a dozen turns in a row here.
Plus Ren with no target. And pass the turn.
All right.
Actually, just in case you have Force of Negation, I need to do this before. So I will bolt the Bone Crusher Giant and go to 1.
Going to 1. Going to 1. All right, untap. Now you got a lot of live ones. Just feels pretty good. All right, attack you.
Block.
That one outburst. Tricks on tricks. All right, you're up.
Oh my god.
Today is a good day to die, Ross. It'll be glorious. Me and Shardless Agent Chip in a chair. Red, blue.
Smart Command, 2 to Agent, and then Loot.
5 cards in hand?
Yep. Had the force too.
That was a nice one. Yeah, that was Ross missing for about a dozen turns there.
Well, if you don't have the force negation there, you have to rip a burn spell, or you're just dead to Ren Emblem. I'm just gonna bolt you.
Oh, you didn't blessed yet?
Yeah,
right.
I haven't blessed yet. So I'm gonna draw these 2. I'm gonna keep the remand and pitch.
You just bolt.
I'm gonna draw here. Yeah.
You have red. So it's bolt 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's 16. Yep. We'll take it. Game 3. I will not go quietly into the night. Will not go down without a fight. All right. So are we sideboarding now?
Yeah, so we're going to take a quick break here, get our sideboard set up, and finish out this first match between 4-Color Creativity and Team of Crashcade. Don't go anywhere. Well, welcome back to Versus Live, where we are sideboarding in our matchup between 4-Color Creativity and Team of Crashcade. On my side of things, we've got a lot more protection to help against those Force of Negations that were very pesky with Flusterstorm and Veil of Summer. Flusterstorm also pretty good against Cascade.
Yes.
Since you're casting 2 spells to get it out, this Flusterstorm will be the 3rd spell.
Right.
So you need to get to 6 mana to resolve Footfalls through Flusterstorm, and it's somewhat hard to counter back with disputes and forces. So really good against that. I'm also bringing in a couple of Aether Gusts, another good card against Footfalls in particular. Can also just counter your burn spells when you try to hit a Teferi on a key turn, and then it's not really a good card anyway. Can take a Rhino off the battlefield, but just do a lot of other things. And then in particular, it gets Blood Moon off the battlefield, which if I don't have, I can obviously cast Creativity in Blood Moon pretty easily, but it'll turn off Dwarven Mind, so I have to have some other things in play. It can really limit my ability to just play the game since I'm a 4-color deck with only 2 basics, one of which is already a mountain. So Aether Gust particularly good against Jim's best sideboard card. I'm decided to cut Prismatic Ending instead of Lightning Bolt, just because I think the games are going to get a little bit flashier with more counterspells in, and so the Brazen Borrowers and the Bone Crushers, that kind of small ball stuff, I think is going to get more important, and Bolt is really good there. I have other ways to deal with the tokens. I have Aether Gusts, I have Flusterstorms to stop it from even happening, to Fairies, obviously, so I'm going to rely on those a little bit more, and not have Prismatic Ending in, which is only good at answering a single Rhino.
For sure.
So just too limited in its application. Trimming some Explorers, I'm expecting my acceleration not to be as good if you're going to have more cheap disruption. And then trimming 1 Ren and 6, this is just a card that I think has pretty high diminishing returns. You saw me have 1 in play for like 8 turns in game 2, and it just not do enough. So while it's very good to land on turn 2, and I wouldn't mind having 4, I think it's just the next worst card.
That's right. Yeah, so I'm bringing in my Blood Moon against your double Triome deck. So those double Triome starts won't be as good. Pretty obvious one there. And of course, Dispute's great as well. I mean, being able to defend myself against your instant speed stuff. Even just casting as Mana Leak can be like reasonable as well. Can't counter Creativity proper, but answering Teferi is by far the #1 thing, and it does that very, very well. And Dead Gone, of course, while it can, it can kill a dwarf in response to your Creativity. It's very, very thin. If it could bounce Emrakul, maybe, but of course has pro instance, can't do that. I wish I actually have some Murktides here too. Murktide, is a full 4 in the main deck, and it seems good if you're playing like a grindy matchup against like a Ragavan deck with Thoughtseizes and stuff like that, where you just go, oops, okay, here's a 6/6, go nuts. But I'm gonna shave 2 of those, have a little more flashy game. I'm gonna shave 1 Footfalls too, but there are 4 in the deck, and I think that if the game goes late, by the time we hit like turn 8, 9, 10 or whatever, Teferi might already be in play. Things might happen in that regard where I don't really ever want to draw Footfalls because suspending it is so risky that having 3 is probably fine. It's a pretty easy shave. So that's what I'm up to.
Okay. Justin, we got any questions from the chat while we're shuffling up here for game 3?
Oh, yeah, let's see here. That's a pretty relevant one to what we were just talking about. Ethereum wants to know Ross's thoughts on the mana base of the Creativity deck.
I think you're pretty restricted in what you have to do because you need so many mountains. So the Triomes are obviously great. You need a high number of fetch lands, and then just the red chalk lands. So that that's just how the mana base has to be. I think the 1 island as your 1 non-mountain land makes a lot of sense. This version of the deck does do one thing a little bit different. There's a single copy of Valakut, which can be good.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty spicy.
Yeah, there's just a single Valakut here that can, just help you out a little bit, throw a couple extra bolts around. That's something that I'm interested in, but I'm certainly not sold on. Just having another tapped land could not be what you really want, but I can see the value of it.
Yeah, I think that the opportunity cost for any non-mountain is extremely high. You know, I found that in the historic version of a deck where, like, anytime you draw that Sulfur Falls, you're just like, I mean, I have to play it because historic doesn't have the fetch land mana base, you know, but it's just like, you now return behind. So one Valakut and one Island are your two non-mountains, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the idea of Valakut a lot as like it's almost like Field of the Dead in like more fair decks, where you just like have this land where eventually if the game goes long, I just start winning and I don't have to do anything about it. It's just a land. So kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, I agree. So that's the one cool thing that this list is doing. But other than that, like the mana base is pretty cookie cutter and how it just has to be made.
All right, so you're first, right?
I'm on the play. Game 3. And my hand looks perfectly fine. I will keep.
All right, we can keep this.
I will lead on a Ketria Triumph.
That looks a little more appealing now. I got Blood Moons in my deck, you know? All right, so we are at Foothills since they go. A lot more to watch out for now with Veil of Summer, Flusterstorm in play. Like, things are going to be, as far as resolving threats and so on and so forth, very important. A lot of 1 mana and free interaction available. It's kind of like Legacy-esque a little bit.
I'm going to play a Hard Evidence.
Grabby.
Good?
Mm-hmm.
No dispute?
Nope.
And I'll play a tap Sacred Foundry and
not even going to force it.
pass the turn.
All right, I got 19 for me.
Yep.
Get my own Triome.
Good.
Draw. Okay. Mountain. And we're going to say go. We are going to attempt to ice your Triome on the upkeep. Sort of a duress for a Veil of Summer here. Or I guess a flush. I mean, flush doesn't matter, I guess, but Veil of Summer is a thing. Does Ross want to make me discard a card or not?
Nah, your ace is good.
Cool. Draw.
I'm just going to play a Scalding Tarn and pass.
Yep. Untap. Draw. Okay. So play our own Tarn. There are many interaction points here, but I think we're happy just firing off. So yeah, we're gonna fetch let's fetch an island, and I'm going to cast Charlotte's Agent.
So you're at 18. I'm going to crack my turn, go to 19.
Yep, so we got 18 to 19.
Yep. I am going to get the basic island. Let your Cascade trigger resolve.
It's an Aether Gust would be pretty cool on the Footfalls. Good to go?
Yeah.
Look at that. So lucky.
Going to do a little bit better than Aether Gust with a Remand here.
Okay. That's fine. It's old border Remand. I approve. You're up.
So the Time Spiral Remastered. Okay, playing Arid Mesa. And I will pass the turn.
So untap. All right, coming in.
Block.
You put an 0-3 in your deck to block with? Are you insane? All right. The block is good. Damage will resolve. So we're going to fire up the old Stomp here and see if we can't take that crab out. Stomp, targeting crab.
That's good.
On adventure. And faster.
On your end step, crack the Mesa, so I'm at 18.
Mm-hmm. 18 across.
Yep.
Or 18 love, as we were playing tennis earlier.
Yeah.
Ross had to remind me how scoring in tennis works. It's very confusing.
Works exactly how you would expect. Love means 0. Then you win a point, you go to 15. You win another point, you go to 30.
Yeah.
So then obviously if you win a third point, you go to 40.
Yeah, I mean, it's fairly logical. The math checks out.
Yeah. If you win a point at 40, then you win. That's just too much.
Yeah.
You can't count that high.
Yeah.
But if it's 40 all, then it's deuce.
Yeah, deuce comes after 40, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Love 15, 30, 40 deuce.
Yep.
Those are the numbers, Jim.
Yep. It's the standard counting system.
Yeah. I am going to crack this clue on the end step.
Okay.
And then I'll go to my turn. Play Foothills. Play another hard evidence.
Crab.
Got more crabs where that came from.
Mm.
Then I'll pass the turn.
So I've heard. Unsap. Oh, Ross. Can I borrow your crabs?
I am thinking no. I'll Veil of Summer.
Boo, Veil of Summer.
This actually deals with the borrower permanently.
Yep.
Draw a Veil.
Yep. All right. And I'll attack.
Block.
Got me this time. Yep. Veil of Summer's so good.
On your end step, I'll crack. Go to 17.
Mm-hmm.
What do I want here? Already have both triomes. Do I just want a Dwarven Mine? Probably not. I think I just want more blue mana. So let's get a Steam Vents.
Pretty easy to see how the matchup shifts post board, where like Ross isn't even bothering to get a dwarf here, just focusing on getting blue mana, being able to set up spells, kind of like Veil of Summer here, counterspell there. Definitely no longer a race to creativity at all.
Yeah.
And the thing is, in game ones, you kind of like have some hands just dictate you have to do that, but post board you have plenty of options as far as playing a slower game.
I will crack that clue.
Yep.
And go to my turn. I will play Teferi.
Imagine this turn is not going to go well for me, but we got a few things to do here. I'll start with the dispute.
I will play Veil of Summer.
Right. I'm playing Force. I'm just targeting the Veil with the Force, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Draw cards. So Force. I'll pitch a Prismari command.
Yep,
So
that all
that's
works.
Exiled. That's countered.
Then I will play a Dwarven Mine and get a dwarf.
Mm-hmm.
And pass the turn.
All right, so you got how many cards left?
I have 4.
That's so many cards. All right.
Well, you also have 4. You have 5.
I'll do a 5.
I have 3 more lands than you.
Yes, you do. All right. Let's see here. That crab dough. All right, come in.
Block.
You got me. Let me go to
Knock into 16.
16. I will attempt to fire it up. Fire it up. Fire it up. Having crab for dinner tonight. No, we're not. I hate seafood.
Yeah, that's fine.
That felt pretty good. All right, and then we're going to Merc it. And we're going to exile some cards here. Reman would be pretty devastating, but I think we might just go all the way. So just dump all our spells. Yeah, I'm just going to go for it's 4 spells.
Yep. 4 counters on Merc.
Okay. And pass turn.
You got 2 in hand right now?
Yes. We've passed the point of the game of the counterspell war. Now we're in the slugfest. I'm going to start playing stuff because I got nothing left. And hopefully my stuff's better than Ross's stuff.
Yeah, I will play a Valakut and pass the turn.
You have how many mountains?
5.
So next mountain's a bolt.
Yep.
Go. Untap. Okay. All right. I mean, coming in.
Take 9. I'll go to 8.
All right. Welcome to the Space Jam, I guess. Cascade.
Cascade's good. I'll gust the footfalls.
Okay. I'll choose to put it on the bottom for next time. So you get the 2-team play, which is nice. And then I guess we're just going to suspend this. It's probably not going to affect the game, but I think the value of like drawing up a Prismari command and wanting to loot is pretty thin. It does reveal that I have nothing, but I think I've been just jamming for the last few turns anyway, so it's pretty clear I have nothing. So fire up footfalls onto that and say go.
Okay. On your end step, I'll Prismari command, deal 2 to a shardless, destroy the other one.
Yep. Me and my dragon.
Now I'll jam in a Hiri and exile your dragon.
Me and my dragon are no longer friends.
So that's on 2, and I will pass the turn.
Well, now I'm very glad that I spent this footfalls. So
Yeah.
I had things, I no longer have any things. It goes to 3, and draw. And we'll cast Bone Crusher Giant.
Sure.
And pass turn.
Draw.
I just think Sound Mountain is pretty good here too, but
Plus to loot with Nahiri.
Yep.
Discard Bolt. I'll play a Dwarven Mine, deal 3 there, get a dwarf. Pass the turn.
untap. This goes 2. Yep. Valakut's earning that paycheck right now.
I will attack for 1.
15.
Importantly, puts Jim exactly to 15, so 1 hit from Emrakul will do it. I will plus Nahiri.
Yep.
Discard this bolt.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll go for it. Creativity, my dwarf.
Yep.
So it's still just from the top. Yeah.
I don't even guess the entire match. It's funny.
Yeah, this is the first time. It's a pretty good time, though. I was very afraid of I was somewhat afraid of a Brazen Borrower there, but it was good that you couldn't cast Petty Theft plus
Yeah, that's true.
something. So I was trying to dig with the bolt for another target for creativity or a counterspell.
Yeah. And a surprise twist, Ross boarded out Emrakul.
Is this going to be a replay of the Rex Age turn? There it is.
All right.
Okay, so Dwarf gone. These go... Oh, I can then Shuffle Libraries, yeah. So it's not that big on the
Shuffle
bottom.
Library, okay.
Yeah, I should have just looked through.
All right.
And then I will pass the turn.
Outburst.
Cascade trigger's good.
Yeah, I mean, I could have done it in combat and not gone to 15, but like, I feel like it opens up it like informs you your decisions better with Nahiri and stuff, and like, I don't know if it was right or wrong, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't think I have any outs.
I also have a gust for the Crashing Footfalls. So.
All right. Sure. So yeah, I think I'm just drawing dead. So, all right, you got me.
Yeah.
Games.
Yeah. Some very good games.
Yeah, definitely very interesting games.
I was able to control you a little bit better in the third game, bought me time, and I found a creativity. I guess if I just found a creativity in game 2, it would have sort of looked the same.
Yeah, I think the big crutch to that game was my mana. I was stuck on 3 lands for a while, so it was hard to develop and leave my counters up. So I had the force, I had the dispute, but I kind of had to just like do a 2 mana play every turn, leave dispute up. You know, if I had a 4th land and I could like play a 3 drop, have dispute up and the force. You know, so
yeah, especially if it's violent outburst where you can have the force defensively on my turn.
Right, for sure. So definitely, it felt like the mana, and that usually what happens in kind of control-y, flashy mirrors where you're playing a lot of counter spells and answers, and the person who has more mana is able to cast more Flush Storms or Veil Summers or Dispels or whatever the card might be.
Yeah, you really saw the dynamic change. You know, I guess we played the one long pre-board game, but that was because I couldn't find creativity. And here it really changed because there was just a lot more counter spells going on.
Absolutely.
If I drew that creativity that turn, then I cast it. Okay. But if I had it earlier, I probably am not going for it because you just have so much.
Right.
Like maybe after the turn the counter war on the Fairy, maybe I would have gone for it, but it was only a turn or 2 after that I drew it.
Yeah.
And I spent a turn just clearing up your battlefield with the Prismari command and then Nahiri, and then had Gust up the entire time to keep stopping those cascades.
Yeah.
That was like you got off multiple cascades in game 1, and it's a lot harder to deal with them once they're on the battlefield because it's not like I'm playing Supreme Verdict or some other sweeper. So yeah, good games here in match 1.
Nahiri was very, very good.
Yeah.
Like I think Nahiri is awesome, and like you'll see it in my next deck where it's just like this card that like it is a combo piece, but it's also just like this very reasonable card. You know, it just sort of like if the game ends up playing longer and you just have a Nahiri in play and you can just loot and you can kill things. It's not like the best Planeswalker ever, but it's also the sort of combo piece also. So just like a very flexible card, very cool card.
And when you have a deck that really needs that looting ability or rummaging ability here where you're accidentally drawing the Emrakul some amount of the time, it's also a combo piece where it finds the Emrakul, and it's also an interactive piece where it can exile, big things that you might have trouble answering anyway. Here I got to answer a Murktide Regent, which is probably best possible.
That was huge. Yeah. Like, I mean, are there any cards in your deck that can kill it besides that? Like
I have Teferi to bounce it.
Right.
So I don't have any way to permanently, take it off the battle or, put it into the graveyard, either exile it or put it in your hand, I guess.
Yeah. I
guess I can play a lot of burn spells.
That is true. Yeah.
So yeah, very good games here in match 1. We're going to take a 5-minute break and get our second match set up. And as we said at the beginning of the show, that match is going to be 2 of our favorite fun modern decks. So if you're familiar with Jim's stream, you'll definitely know his deck. And I've been tweeting a little bit about my deck. It's what I've been playing at F&M for fun for a couple weeks now. So we'll have some good times with it, and then we'll get to that Grudge match later on. So like I said, 5-minute break, and we'll be back with more Versus Live. Don't go anywhere. Hello, and welcome back to Versus Live. I'm Ross Merriam.
I'm Jim Davis.
Special guest Jim Davis here for the week, and we've got Justin in the booth. Say what's up, Justin.
What's up, Justin?
Justin will be taking all of your questions, comments, concerns, and burns in the chat. Make sure to tag at Star City Games so he can see them and send his favorites over to us. This is a very important match on Versus Live because Jim was able to defeat Corey on Tuesday, which means he won the marbles. It means I have to win today, or else he's going to abscond with them back to New York.
Buy marbles.
Yeah.
Forever. Ruin the show. Versus Live's going to be canceled. The lights are going to go off. That's it.
Yeah, we're going to play very sad music.
Yep.
It's going to be rough. So
fade to black and white.
Yes. The good news is I am up a match.
I mean, good news is a relative term, I suppose.
Yeah. But I'll be honest, I don't feel great about either of these last 2 matches. So I need to get one more here to protect the marbles. As I said before the break, this second match is going to be 2 fun decks that Jim and I like to play, respectively. If you're a fan of Jim's stream, you will probably remember this deck that is affectionately known as Nahiri Boom.
Nahiri Boom.
Yeah, a little, mid-range land destruction Boros deck.
Yep. Got
some Flagstones, Boom Bust action going on, I assume.
Cataracts, and we got a new one. We got Rustvale Bridge. which is definitely the best of the artifact cycle because just
you get a mana fixer that normally when you play those artifact lands, you make your mana worse. You have all these stupid colorless lands.
Exactly. No citadels, no cataracts. I'm still playing a few cataracts, but being able to have a indestructible land for turn 2 boom, it's also a mana fixing land is very, very nice.
Yeah, so good addition there. And I'm going to be playing a Rakdos Sacrifice deck. This is the list I've been F&M'ing a little bit with over the last month or so here in Roanoke. Just kind of built it on a whim. I like playing the sacrifice cards and just built a deck around them, and it's been pretty cool.
I'm actually very curious to see it, actually, because I had brewed up on stream my show Freshly Brewed, a sacrifice deck, and it was really, really cool. And I think our lists are pretty different. So I'm kind of interested to see what the differences are.
Yeah. I'm still working through some things. There's some new stuff in this list that I haven't fully tried yet, like Undead Augur to get me a little bit more card advantage, because there's just a lot of the zombies naturally in the deck, specifically for Gravecrawler. So we'll see how Undead Augur goes. And I've been trying from AFR Shambling Ghast. As an additional zombie, it's cheap card, gets you a little extra mana, which you can, which sometimes you need, and also just like very good at stopping turn 1 Ragavans.
Right, I was gonna say Ragavan.
It's like you better have the prismatic ending.
Yeah.
And if you're it, then you're just out of luck. So, I'm not sure how this matchup is going to go because I'm not super afraid of the land destruction. But if it comes down early enough, you might just stymie me entirely. I don't have a ton of lands. I'm at 22, I think. But I do have a low curve. You've got some good sideboard cards. You've got some over-the-top cards, and I think those are going to be important. I'm definitely the beatdown in the matchup.
Yes.
But definitely not, certainly not a matchup I've played before. So.
Yeah, it's almost like a Boros Control deck, too. We've got, Chandra, Nahiri's Planeswalkers. The win con is Nahiri into Emrakul, as we saw in the last match, of course. Yeah. And it's, basically a control deck. It has the LD elements, but not completely all in on the LD. I've seen versions of this deck that are very, prison-based. They'll have, all the LD spells. Suppression Field, Maggots of a Tabernacle, Ghostly Prison, and, the much, much leaner here. The goal is just to, kill a land or two, get a Planeswalker in play, and then win the game. So, should be cool.
Okay, let's go. You're going to be on the play here for game 1 since I won the first match.
Sounds good. Good to be on the play with your Stone Rain deck, just... All right, and I think it's a play.
Mine will play as well.
All right, so let's start off with the old Rustvale Bridge. You're up. Indestructible artifact land. A bridge too far. Under the bridge downtown.
I will play a swamp and a Gravecrawler.
Sure.
Pass the turn.
So the recursive threats will obviously be a little bit annoying, but draw. All right. I'll play Inspire Manage and just go.
Okay, I like no Boom Bust. I was afraid of that.
Yes, definitely. The deck has 8 big turn 2 plays off of an indestructible land in both Boom Bust and then Cleansing Wildfire, which ends up being a 2-mana Rampart Growth cantrip, which is awesome. Great interaction.
Attack for 2.
All right, this doesn't really feel great, but I'm going to bolt this.
I will Village Rites it in response.
Guess what? Get off my plane. I love this deck so much. I got dazed really bad by Corey in a cube. We did a 1-on-1 cube draft, and he dazed me bad 2 games in a row. So
I'll play a Seer Step Pathway and suspend a Greater Gargadon.
Gargadon's sweet.
Pass the turn.
Do you love me a Gargadon? All right, and I guess we'll just play Sacred Foundry and say go. No Stone Rains here.
Okay, Gargadon down to 9 on my upkeep.
Yep.
Let's crack a Catacombs.
I got fancy art one. It's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It says the set symbol or set code says SLU. No idea what
Secret
that means.
Lair, I think.
Yeah, Secret Lair.
Fancy.
Up yours. I don't know.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
I'll get another basic swamp. So I'm at 19, and I'm going to play a Mayhem Devil.
I wish. Mayhem Devil resolves.
Okay, pass the turn.
All right, so we're going to untap here and draw. Let's read Mayhem Devil for a second here. All right. A little awkward. So of course, with the Gargadon, triggers start flying everywhere. Ross's lands. I haven't really killed any yet, so they're definitely there for the fodder. If we do this, it will just die to the Mayhem Devil dying, which is kind of annoying, but trading resources here really isn't that bad. You got 3 cards in hand now, right?
3 cards.
And I don't really have a better play this turn.
Sounds like a Chandra.
Yeah, it is a Chandra. So Chandra, of course, I could play Chandra. I could target for 4 damage, but then the sack on the Gargadon, this counts itself, and then we do 1 to Chandra and just kill it.
Indeed.
So it might be like an okay exchange, though. I'm not really happy with any of my other plays here, so I think we're just going to do it. So we'll just Chandra and kill this.
Yeah. So Chandra -3, it goes to 1 loyalty. With that ability on the stack, I sack to Gargadon. Mayhem Devil triggers, deal 1 to the Chandra.
Yep.
And everything's hunky-dory.
All right. You're up.
Okay, upkeep, Gargadon to 7.
Gargi looms.
Kind of wish you had drawn some LD here because I'm drawing a lot of lands.
It's kind of a weird hand for me.
I will play a Goblin Bombardment.
Do you like that one?
And pass the turn.
All right, untap.
That's actually the reason I built the deck. I was like, I want to play with Goblin Bombardment.
Card is sweet. All right, so we are going to. You got 2 cards left.
2 cards.
All right, so we're gonna fire in Nahiri. Could have played Nahiri last turn, but like might have ended up dying to the devil attacking. So could also wait a turn, try to use Nahiri to eat it, but probably would have died there also. So play Nahiri.
What are we doing with it?
And we're gonna go up. We're gonna leave your bombardment in play. You can have it. So I will discard a Sunbed Canyon, draw a card.
Yep. Hope you draw Emrakul.
Hope I draw Emrakul, he says. Try him.
Okay.
Your turn.
I would like to draw a zombie.
No zombies, please.
Gargadon goes to 6.
Can Gargadon sack enchantments? No.
No.
Okay.
You're 20?
Yep. No fetch lands in this deck. The Triumph's a new addition as well, because I wanted to add prismatic ending. I used to play Oust. Dude, love me some Oust. That card's awesome. But ending seems better, and I wanted to have a 3rd source, so put in one of the Triumphs. I can fetch off my Flagstones.
Yeah, you didn't deal yourself any damage this game. I didn't get to get in with my turn 1 Gravecrawler.
Yep. You got Mana Tithe. Remember that? That was a cool thing that happened, right?
Yeah, I've only got 16 here with this Mayhem Devil. So instead, I will play it. I'm going to sack this Verdant Catacombs, deal you 1, put you to 19. I'll be at 18.
Yep.
I'm going to go to 16 for a Blood Crypt. And I'm going to Bone Shards the Nahiri, discarding the Swamp.
Ouch.
So I could have played the Swamp, had 5 lands in play here, that's 6 permanents, and deal another 6 to you, and then attack for 9, just leave you at 4. I'm just like, hope you don't have anything to deal with Gargadon, but that does not seem great against a Nahiri deck.
Yeah.
And I'll pass the turn.
Gargadon is pretty good.
I am handless.
Draw. Okay. I'll play a Canyon and draw.
Deal you 1.
Got it.
Yeah, Mayhem Devil gets any sacrifice. This feels like Jim is flooding a little bit.
Yeah. So it goes to 5. This is 5. It's just 14 at present. If you draw any other permanent, though, it is 17. And then it could be 18, 19.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm dead on board anyway. It says 4. No, because you need to draw. I guess drawing a permanent is not exactly a big ask. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good.
I think there are 4 non-permanents in my deck right now. The second village. No, there's only 1 village, right? So I think just 3 more Bone Shards.
Kind of a tough game. Definitely panned out super well after our nice Mana Tithe. Gargadon's very, very good here, obviously. It's just the ability to kind of just sit there, and I'm not really killing you that fast.
It's another new addition. I used to play 3 Bombardment. Now I'm playing 2 Bombardment, 1 Gargadon.
Yeah.
Might end up going more towards Gargadon. Just having some big creatures has been nice.
Maybe we can yeah, I mean, I guess we're just going to Nahiri and loot. I don't even know what we're doing anymore. Honestly, we're pretty thin. Discard a pillage, and then draw, and draw your permanent and kill me, I guess.
Yeah, Gargadon to 5 on the upkeep.
Yep.
I drew a mountain.
Of course, my card that I drew was Bolt, obviously, off the Nahiri. You know, Bolt would have bought me another turn.
I get to float a bunch of mana, sack my 5 lands to the Gargadon, trigger Mayhem Devil 5 times, put you to 13.
Yep.
Gargadon has haste when it comes off suspend, attack you for 12. You go to 1, and then I can actually deal 4 more by sacking the Gargadon bombardment first.
Yep.
Sack it to bombardment to the 1, trigger Devil.
Yeah, Bolt came a little late there, unfortunately. Kind of a weird game. In the mid game, my hand was just Chandra Nahiri, and like he played the Mayhem Devil, and like the Gargadon just sitting there was like so good because I couldn't really affect it in any way, and like the threat of it looming every turn, which is so big.
Yeah, so. I wasn't doing a whole lot, but the Gargadon was just sitting there the entire time.
Right.
I just never drew another zombie to bring back Crawler, which is awkward.
Yeah. All right, I'll be on the play this game.
I was really hoping at one point when I had the fetch land ability, just draw like Stitcher Supplier, mill into some Blood Gas.
Sure.
Free cast the Gravecrawler, just immediately bring back a Gargadon. But it was not to be.
All right. Did get that Manatite though. That was a nice one. It's a sweet Manatite.
I do like me a good Manatite.
Yes, a good Manatite is just good. It's just good. Just all the good in the world is tied up with a good Manatite.
I don't think anyone's beating Paul Rietzel's Manatite, Your Cruel Ultimatum in the top 4 of a Pro Tour on camera.
That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one.
So we're all fighting for second place, but
I'll take it.
Yeah, it's a good battle to fight.
All right. On the play.
Another exasperated sigh. I like that.
Yeah, it's just like I probably can't mulligan it, but it's definitely on the bottom end of the range. But I'll keep.
I will definitely keep.
Advantage, go. That's a big draws here, you know.
Urborg, Stitcher Supplier, Mill 3. Got 2 lands and an auger. Pass the turn.
Lands are always a little awkward with as far as fast lands. You want to make sure you play your fast lands like early, but you have tap lands you want to play also. Also want to play this possibly too, so we're just gonna play the Vantage. And say go.
Drop. Attack for 1.
Yep, 19.
Got him. Play a Shambling Ghast.
Sure.
Crack Bloodstained Mire. I'm going to go to 17, get a Blood Crypt.
Yep.
Could get the Mountain here to save some life, but then I don't want Jim to be able to just play a Stone Rain on my Urborg and leave me without black. And I will suspend a Gargadon.
Again.
No Mana Tithe for you. Pass the turn.
All right. I'm just going to fire in a Pillage.
Pillage on Blood Crypt. Yeah, sack that, yeah. Obviously sacking in response. Then upkeep we go to 8. Attack for 2.
17.
17 all. And I am going to play a Gravecrawler.
Okay.
And could like sack the gas to do something else, but I think I'd rather just pass.
All right, so we're casting Nahiri here. Obviously, we prefer to cast it on a more stable board, but realistically, it's just some 1/1s and a 2/1, so they're all pretty bad to kill regardless. So, play Nahiri, we're going to plus it.
Yep.
I'm going to discard a Flagstones and draw a card. And you are up.
Okay, upkeep, go to 7 on the Gargadon. Teach me to keep 2 landers on the draw, I guess. Let's attack the Nahiri for 4. Play another supplier, a mill 3.
Yep. Hog War Marshal.
Yeah. Didn't know any lands, that's good.
Smallpox is a nice one.
I'll pass the turn.
You can get a Smallpox anytime you want, my friend.
Hey, you go turn 1 supplier or turn 2 Smallpox against the Ragavan. You're in good shape.
All right. So we can't exile the Gravecrawler here, unfortunately, because we just sacked a Gargadon. Just going to fire up a plus. We just drew Emrakul, of course, so we'll discard that.
You draw first, right?
I draw, discard a
Because
card.
it's all part of the ability.
If you do draw a card. Trigger, So triggers on a stack, I draw off of the Nahiri.
The trigger's actually not on the stack until the ability is done resolving.
Sure, yeah, it's waiting on the stack, so
Yeah.
draw that.
Now we resolve the
Shuffle.
Emrakul, which is probably better most of the time, because then you can't redraw the Emrakul.
Yeah.
I guess if it was really late game and your graveyard is juiced, maybe you'd rather just shuffle everything in.
Pretty anemic draws on my part so far. I haven't found the booms or the cleansing wildfires are the 2 big plays. Haven't really gotten there yet. I'll play a Rustville Bridge and Sego. Unfortunately, all this time I'm floundering. The Gargadon just slowly ticking away.
Yep.
And
So I could actually return get the Gargadon into play this turn. But that does not seem good against the Nahiri. So I think I will continue to try to answer this Nahiri. Let's send everybody. All at Nahiri. I don't think your deck has Settle the Wreckage in it.
yeah, that'd be a little weird. Or does it, though? That'd be a good juke. All right, so we're going to have to bolt one of these creatures, which feels awful, but just going to bolt the Gravecrawler.
I will sack it to Gargadon in response.
Yep, and then we're filing in here, go to 1.
Yeah, Nahiri to 1. And now I could answer the Nahiri. You have 3 cards in hand.
Yep.
You would take quite a few resources to do it. What am I worried about you doing on your turn? Three cards, what are you really going to do? No one knows. But it's provocative. Gets the people going.
Seriously. I could do anything.
I think I would rather leave creatures on the battlefield here. So I am just going to play another Stitcher Supplier.
Sure.
Mill 3. Got another Gravecrawler in there, and then a couple lands, that's sad. And then pass the turn.
All right, untap, draw. That wasn't bad as far as things go. All right, we're going to fire up Nahiri, discard this Inspiring Vantage, and draw a card. That's not great, but all right, give him a Dargon.
Okay, I'll sack the Gargadon.
Yep. Gargy's on 4 now. Gargy looms. All right, and then go to 15. It's your turn.
Gargadon to 3.
Yep.
Okay, there's definitely a bolt here, but I'm jamming. Send everybody at Nahiri.
All right, I think I would like the gas to live more than anything else, so Do that and that.
Okay, I will sack to Gargadon.
Yep.
Mill 3. I will.
Suck that one too.
Yeah, let's put it to 1. Mill 3.
Mm-hmm. What's that blood guest?
Yeah.
This one.
So yeah, it goes to 1. I didn't want to sack the second one because I don't want this to come off suspend until next turn. In case you have like some way to do with it at sorcery speed.
Okay.
It'll be untapped for Nahiri, but I don't know what you could do. You could just like have Bolt plus Chandra or something.
Sure.
So that is my plan, which means what I want, because what I'm gonna do is sack this to get the treasure and leave it at 1.
Okay.
Because I drew a land finally. You can return this Bloodghast.
Nice.
Sack. So I've got a treasure.
And you're going to shock?
Probably don't really need to, but yeah, I'll go 14.
14 to 15.
And then I'm going to sack the treasure so I can cast this Goblin Bombardment.
Okay.
And then I will...
Excuse me.
Sack the Bloodghast to the Bombardment.
It's pretty good.
And then pass the turn.
Mm-hmm.
Turn. I guess I don't know if you have another Chain Maw. Maybe I want to get the Swamp. Whatever. I did what I did. Very good.
There's only 2 in the deck, so.
Yeah.
All right, I'll pillage your land. And at 15.
I've got 14 for me and 15 for you.
This will just say go.
Okay, Gargadon comes in.
Yep. No Manatite Theory, because that would be so sweet if I had it.
Let's just send for 9.
11 and 15. Draw. So let's see. So like, if you draw like say a fetch land, that's 2 triggers of Bloodghast. It's this here. It's 3 by itself and 4. So like effectively at like 11-ish. Charma is holding back Supplier for the next turn. Maybe not actually. Maybe I should take the damage to the nav, and you would just attack with the Supplier anyway. So I think I just block.
Okay. Pass the turn.
Fortunately, my outs to Gargadon are a little more thin.
Nope. I kind of thought there was going to be a Bolt here, so I'm happy not to see Bolt.
No Bolt.
I left back Supplier. I didn't want you to be able to block Supplier and then Nahiri the Gargadon, and we only have the 1 creature.
Yeah. All right, you're up. Yeah, unfortunately, I removed the oust for prismatic endings, so those are not very good against Gargadon either.
Get in for 10, put you to 5, and pass the turn.
I found them. Yeah, so the LD spells tend to not be great against like the low curve creature decks, of course. Okay. So now we're going to sideboard, they're going to come out. So
Greater Gargadon putting in work.
Yeah, Singleton Greater Gargadon. Yeah, definitely some tough games there. The one Gargadon, of course, we have one that's very, very good. And then, like, the hands just were not great. You know, the Boom Bust on turn 2 is still always very good, even in, like, the creature matchups. And then I had the Flagstones effect in every game, but never had the turn 2 effect. And then Wildfire is also just great, too. I mean, Rampant Growth, like, the Wildfire is what made this deck go from being, like, kind of, like, fun and memey to me to, like, actually, like, a deck that felt like it could really compete in some ways. Like, where just having a 2-mana Divination Rampant Growth is, like, just awesome.
Yeah, you know, you're casting Cantrip Rampant Growth is a good magic card.
yeah, and then casting Chandra on turn 3 and Nahiri on turn 3. So
yeah, it works really well with your curve. It gets you to boom faster and all,
for sure.
All that stuff.
It's very, very solid. So all right, okay. Well, that's the marbles, I guess, right?
Yeah, unless we play really quickly, which no, we're at 10-3, so that's not happening.
All right,
but we are going to take a actually. Do you want to just get right to match 3 because match 3 might take a while? And that's the one you want to win anay.
How much time do we have?
We got just over an hour and 10 minutes. We're going to take a 5-minute break anyway.
Okay.
So it gives us a solid hour. So we'll skip sideboarding for this match. our sideboards aren't geared towards these matchups anyway, so it's not going to be super instructive.
It's weird how Ross was saying he wasn't going to sideboard, and I'm bringing in my 2 Angers, my 2 Celestial Purges, and maybe my Relics, my Timely. I got all the tools post-sideboard, but that's okay.
No, I was going to be bringing out my small boxes for cards that don't do a whole lot.
Right. So, but yeah, I think that I agree. I want to have time for the Grudge match.
Yeah, that's the one you came here to win. You drove 1,000 miles just to win this one match on camera.
That is true. That is true. Sphinx's Revelation coming up next.
Yeah, so we're going to take a 5-minute break, get that Grudge match set up, and we'll see if Jim can take it down. And honestly, I think Jim would take beating Corey and winning this one match against me.
Oh, yeah. If it's lose this match but win the marbles, or lose the marbles and win this match, it's win this match for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Not even close.
So 5-minute break here. We'll get that set up, and we'll play our final round here on Versus Live. Don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome back to Versus Live. I'm Ross Merriam.
I'm Jim Davis.
And we've got Justin in the booth. Say what's up, Justin.
What's up, Justin?
Justin will be taking all of your questions, comments, concerns, and burns in the chat. Make sure to tag at Star City Games so he can see them and send his favorites over to us. It is our final match here on Versus Live. I have defended the marbles, defended the Roanoke territory, but this is the most important match Jim has of the week. None of the matches against Corey count nearly as much as this. This is the match that he came here to win, and I'm going to set the backstory for you here. So this was the first weekend in June in 2014.
I believe so, yeah.
Yes. Oh, I know so.
Okay.
So first weekend in June of 2014. And there was an open weekend. This is back in the one-day era in Providence. And, this is the Pharaoh season, but for people who weren't playing around that or weren't playing a ton competitively, when you think of that Theros block or Theros standard season, you think of the Devotion decks. Mono black and mono blue are the most memorable decks in that season. But from the release of Born of the Gods until the release of Journey into Nyx, you saw a real decline in mono blue. And this is towards the end of that. Journey is about to be released, I think, later that month. And there just wasn't a whole lot of mono blue, and there was a lot of these Gruul Monsters decks. They eventually evolved into Jund. Sylvan Caryatid, Planeswalkers, Polukranos, Stormbreath Dragon, and then Domri Raid and Courser Crucifix that worked really well together when Courser was printed in Born of the Gods. And so those decks started getting really good because the Azorius control decks kind of pushed out mono blue. And so these decks rose up to fight the Azorius decks. So what Jim did at this tournament was take the Azorius control deck and cut Detention Sphere, because you no longer had to deal with FASA as often, but you did have to deal with this pile of Planeswalkers, and you put Planar Cleansing in your deck.
Yes.
And, really smart metagame decision. There was a ton of green decks in this tournament, and I'm sure you slayed a lot of them.
Yeah, my first round in the tournament, like round 1, game 1, I mulligan to 5. My opponent's playing a Naya deck, like a Naya version of the Gruul deck or whatever, and they just have Domri Raid, Xenagos, 4-mana Planeswalker. They had like some 5-drop. They played Elspeth on 6. They just had Planeswalker, Creature, 16 tokens. The kind of board where a control player, like, you can never ever win. And I just went like, mulligan 5, land, Planar Cleansing. And then they were just like, oh, okay, and just take it all if it's able. And that was a good, good beginning to the day for the
start. Yes.
Absolutely, yes.
Unfortunately for Jim, I had just picked up mono blue again after several months of playing the Gruul deck. So I thought mono blue had become well positioned because you were generally good against the green decks. And you were close against mono black, and you were behind against the control deck, though you have this very strong sideboard plan.
Yes.
11 sideboard cards or whatever. So we played in the semifinals of this Open, which was played that Sunday morning. You played the quarterfinals on Saturday. After the Swiss, and then the top 4 came before the Sunday tournament started, and you played your final 2 rounds there. We played an hour-and-a-half long match. It's still on camera. You can find it on YouTube now. That was not particularly well played in Game 3 by me after Jim's mulligan to 5, when I could have just slammed my Jace Memory Adept and won the game easily. But for some reason talked myself out of it, even though it was open deckless. Just one of those brain farts that I do all the time.
It's just Ross shaking his boots, obviously.
But if you watch, Game 2 of that match, where I play impeccably well and hit all the best cards possible off of Night Veil Spectre, or the end of Game 3 when I recover from my mistake and still win, it's a great match. Jim has been salty about this for a long time because he brought a really good deck, and it's still a fine matchup. I would say the blue-white control deck is still favored.
Yeah, I think with the cleansings, it's a little worse than your average blue-white deck, but I agree, it's still favored for sure.
And for the most part, it's like I think I'm slightly ahead in the post-board games, but you're very far ahead in game 1.
Right.
And that was the problem. You had to be a slight favorite, but win both post-board games in most of the matchups against them. Now, if you were playing against not a great control player, then it was a lot easier.
Right.
Because you're playing this like flash game, it's tough to play against, but against a seasoned veteran of control decks, it gets a little bit tougher. So we're going to replay this matchup of Mono Blue Devotion against Blue-White Control with Planar Cleansing, and see if Jim can get a little bit of revenge for a trophy that he thinks he should have won. Though I'm sure Gino Batista would have much rather gone up against you in the finals. He was playing Mono Red Aggro, and I beat him in about 15 minutes.
Sure, I think it was still pretty good for me as well, that matchup was. So yeah,
I don't know how good your Mono Red matchup was, but mine was excellent.
Sure. Yeah, the Master Wave deck is usually pretty good with protection from red.
Tidebinder mages. Like at one point, I'm like deciding between Tidebindering a Burning Tree Emissary or a Firefist Striker, and I'm like, maybe the 2/2 might be better. I'm not sure if he's ever going to attack with 3 creatures.
For sure, yeah.
It was Patrick and Cedric doing commentary, and Patrick is like, yeah, I've played a lot of different red decks. I got up to like a 30%, like trying to do all this weird stuff with the sideboard. And talking about how helpless the matchup is.
Yeah.
And Cedric eventually asks him which one of these 4 drops do you think Gino wants him to see play? It's like, well, anytime the mono blue deck is tapping 4 mana, the game's over.
Sure.
But not so much the case in this matchup. Should be a good one. So let's get into it.
Sweet.
And you're going to be on the play.
Let's go.
I don't know who was on the play in the matchup in Providence.
I don't recall actually. Yeah.
I know game 1 was not close.
Yes, I remember you played things. Hope I didn't have verdict, and I did, of course.
No, you actually didn't.
I didn't.
I just didn't have a great draw. I think you cleansing me at one point, but you actually actually never drew a verdict in the game, and that's what made it draw out. But it was normally the Azorius deck needed verdict, and you would just jam and hope they didn't have it.
Yeah.
But in this case, I think I mulligan and just didn't have a great draw, so you didn't even need verdict.
Okay, so I'm on the play here, right?
Yes.
These guys, this is like putting on an old pair of jeans, I got my Sphinx relations and stuff. This is great. I'll keep this in.
I have no blue mana, so I'm going to send this one back. 2 Mutavaults, 3 Master Waves.
Mutavault's good.
Mutavault is probably my best card in the matchup.
Yeah, Mutavault was it was obviously maybe I don't want to say it was too good in that format. I think it was the combination of the fact that all the decks were monocolored anyway, and then Mutavault was just in all of them. I'm playing Mutavault, this blue-white control deck. It really was one of the best cards in the format.
I think it was the single best card in the format.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think it was remotely close.
There you go.
Yeah.
It was obviously key part of the mono black devotion deck, key part of your mono blue devotion deck. It was in this deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a very, very good card.
Everyone talked about the devotion cards, and obviously the devotion cards were a lot flashier. Grey Merchant, Masfidel, Thassa, and things like that, and how powerful they were. Yeah, they were powerful cards, but the real payoff, like you said, to being monocolor was being able to have 4 Mutavaults in your deck. And you're mostly playing your Mutavaults to stop opposing Mutavaults, right?
Right. Yeah. Just that wants a million lands anyway. Might as well have some of them do something. And then just on turn 5 or 6, they have a 2/2 in play. You don't want to burn a good kill spell on it. You just all right, Mutavault, trade a land off for it. And then control mirrors, you're also just I'll just chip in. There were times where you would just go turn 1 Mutavault, turn 2 attack, and the control mirror because you knew nothing was going to happen on turn 2 anyway. So.
Yeah, I remember even playing a couple of Mutavaults in Gruul Monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your card's great.
Your mana base was horrible, but I still played them. Okay, second hand here. This one, is a little bit better. And I'll put that one back.
It wasn't the London Mulligan back then, right?
Oh yeah, true.
I mean, me and Corey played the extended match with no damage on the stack and everything else. So, all about and zaps. You're up.
Okay, I've got an island and a pass the turn.
Zap. Plains, you're up.
Island, Frostburn Weird.
Weird.
You're up.
Sure. So, untap. Gonna cast the old divination here. Just some good, honest magic. Draw 2 cards. Is that cool with you?
You're good.
And you're up.
I'm just gonna slam in for 4.
All right. I'm gonna go to 16.
Yep. You're up.
You're up. A lot of goes. I like this deck. Played this deck a lot, the entire season. And then my favorite deck ever in Standard was actually after Sphinx's Rev and Friends rotated. I still played Blue-White Control. That was the deck I played. If you had a few open top 8s with it, And wasn't really a major part of the metagame anymore, but the deck was really, really cool.
Attack.
No blocks.
Activate.
Sure.
Activate.
Sure.
Take 3.
Zori's turn. Doink.
That is fine. I will then play a Mutavault and a Cloudfin Raptor.
Sure.
Pass the turn.
Raptor. All right, we can make it simple here. Scry, bottom. Sure. Raptor, one of the weaker cards in the matchup because it requires other things to be good.
Indeed. You got a million cards in hand, right?
Just 6.
Just 6. Just 6, he says.
Just 6.
Okay. I will play Master Waves.
Master of Waves. I think we're going to dissolve this. I'm just going to take our trades so we can get them. Not be greedy about anything. The Raptor is sort of like, doesn't counter this, but like it also just kind of keeps that from doing anything as well. So
you get to scry one, yeah.
That's topper.
I'll pass the turn.
Untap. Draw. And play Mutavaults. We're going to fire in Jace, Architect of Thought.
Yep.
We have to plus it because those Mutavaults, so we'll go up to 5. All attacking creatures Ross controls get -1/-0. Next turn, and then you're up.
You got 5 in hand?
Just 4.
Okay. So I think I just have to take the risk here. Usually in game 1 of this matchup, I've just got to go for things. So end step, I'm going to try to rapid hybridization this Cloudfin Raptor.
You get a frog
Okay.
lizard.
No last breath. That's good. Go to my turn.
Mm-hmm.
It's plain island. Fire up 2 Mutavaults.
Yep.
Attack Jace for 4.
Yep. Jace was 1.
And then I will. Do I want to replay this Frostburn Weird that Jim knows about? If I just get verdicted, I'm in kind of rough shape because then I have no creatures. Jim is the Mutavault. He pluses Jace to 2. I can only attack with 2 1/2s. You get to eat 1 and still keep the Jace around. Yeah, I'll just pass.
Yep. Untap. Jace is very, very good at forcing action and forcing into a Wrath, which is very, very nice.
Yeah.
Draw.
This is one of the cards when it was first printed, it didn't see a lot of play the first year, but it was very good in block constructed, so everyone kind of knew it was going to be good post-rotation, and it was a defining card.
You got 3 cards in hand?
I have 2.
2. Kind of a weird game here. I play Mutavault. And I think we're just going to jam here. It's not really like a jammy kind of deck, but how things are lining up, Ross was wise, I think, not to cast the Frostburn Weird. And, like, the cards in our hand are fine, but, like, drawing this now, I'm pretty sure we're just going to jam it. Just play your Thrilling.
Yep.
Plus, go. Thrilling was the one-up win condition in the deck. Honestly, a card that wasn't even always necessary. A lot of decks just didn't play it at all.
Actually, at the very end of that season, like that summer, the last open before rotation, I actually played an Azorius control deck, and my win condition was 1 Blind Obedience.
1 Blind Obedience? It's the one you cast spells and you exert? Or store?
Well, it makes their stuff enter tapped. Because
right.
Remember the Gruul deck that was really popular with Thundermaw Hellkite and Hellrider?
Yep.
So it was very good against them, and it was just a win condition against everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. No Aetherling, just 1 Blind Obedience.
Yeah.
Had Restos and stuff. I guess that was before this. This was going into right before Theros.
Right.
So a little bit before this, actually.
It's feeling pretty good right now. Mutavaults are 1/2s. The Frog is a 2/3. I doubt there are many ways to deal with this Aetherling as long as I don't tap my blue. Getting it hybridized into a Frog wouldn't even be that bad anyway. So
yeah, I just can't win this game.
Yeah.
Drew a lot of lands this game. And,
for sure.
Just didn't do a whole lot. You just got to come out quickly and hope they don't have verdict for the most part.
Yeah, I would say without any counter spells or ways to interact, realistically, the spot removal spells are very good on my side. The rats are very good too.
Yeah.
So,
and this is where you see the problem in the matchup, but
We should play like an actual match, right?
Yeah.
So we'll sideboard for game 2.
Yeah, so we're going to take a quick break here, get some sideboarding set up, and finish out this match between Mono Blue Devotion and Azorius Control. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Versus Live, where we are sideboarding in our matchup between Mono Blue Devotion and Azorius Control, circa 2014. As you can see, I am doing quite a bit of sideboarding here, and this is the name of the game in this matchup at the time. I've got a pile of different counter spells that, I'll help do a little bit different things. And then some really big threats in Jaces, an extra Biden, and a big Jace. So we get to, play a little bit more of a powerful game plan, a much slower game plan. And we're going to be cutting a lot of our cards that depend on having a significant battlefield presence. Cloudfin Raptor encourages you to just curve out behind it to make it big. That's not what I'm doing, so it gets a lot worse. The Go Rider Sliver is just an individually weak card. Hall of Triumph depends on a huge battlefield, so does Master of Waves. You do want to leave in a couple Master of Waves because it's just a nice big threat late in the game. You usually have like a non-creature permanent or out somewhere or some small creature, and you don't need to make 10 elementals with it for it to be good. 2, 3, 4 elementals is perfectly fine. And it's a really nice top deck when both players are pretty low on resources. It's a nice card to resolve when you have 7 mana and a counter spell or 2 up. So I don't cut all of them. I leave a couple in. Instead, I cut the 1 Cyclonic Rift. This was usually a decent card against blue-white control. The more typical versions that had detention spheres, because you'd be able to set up a turn where you end step bounce all the spheres and suddenly have this huge battlefield, make a big attack, and then untap and protect it with counter spells, or just kill them. So that was an interesting thing to do against them, but not against Jim's build. And I'm trimming 1 Tidebinder Mage as just another individually weak card to make room for everything that's going on. I think at the time I probably left in the Tidebinder Mage and only left in 1 Rapid Hybridization, but Archangel of Thune is that's a problematic card, especially because it dodges all my counter spells except for Dissolve.
Yes.
So I'm going to leave in 2 Rapid Hybridizations. Actually, yeah, I think I had 2 in the main deck of this list, and then 1 in the sideboard. So we'll have as many as Jim has Archangel of Thunes, and I'll draw them at the exact right moment. It'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll see. And then for me, so unfortunately, the Planar Cleansing was like the card in the deck that made the deck, but it's not really great here. It is very, very clunky. Now the counterspell's coming in. It only dodges, Negate and Dissolve are the ones that hit it. You can get dodges Gainsay, dodges Dispel, but the reality is that like the game shifts a lot post-war. It stops being kind of like almost like an affinity, like dump my hand, here's all my stuff, I gotta kill you game, into more of like a, fish kind of control game where you're playing a creature, protecting it, resolving a threat, and kind of being a little more nimble. So Planar Cleansing, while it does answer, the Jace kind of well, and the Bide sort of well as well, I think it's just too clunky to really rely on. Bring some 1-for-1 removal instead, Deicide, Last Breath. As you said, Archangel of Thune, very, very good. Just a very, very hard card to deal with if it ever resolves. And then Aetherling, again, just expensive card. Don't really want to try and resolve it. It's hit by Gainsay, Dissolve, and so on and so forth. Big one here for me also is Dispel. Being able to win counter wars is going to be very, very important. Even if it only targets 7 or 8 cards in your deck, the ones it targets are extremely important. So that's what's up.
Okay. Get our sideboard shuffled in here. Justin, we got a question from our audience.
Let's see here. Earlier on, Goober1501 asked a question for both of you. What deck should we not be playing in Modern right now?
What deck should we not be playing? Difficult question. I think there's most of the decks that you would think, and near the top of the metagame, I think are all fine. I know people have been picking up Tron a little bit more, and I'm not a big fan of that deck, though the way things are built, the metagame is fine for it. There's not really something that comes to mind as like something that people are playing that isn't that good. I guess maybe the prowess decks. You don't see a lot of them, but they're still kind of around. I don't think that deck is nearly as good as it used to be because Storming Entity, which is its big trick, is just so much easier to deal with post Unholy Heat.
Yeah. I would say Tron's great, by the way. Don't let Ross
Tron hasn't been playable in like 3 years.
Tron, it had 3 decks in the top 8 of like one of the online events last week. It's actually like really good right now. Me and Corey were talking about it on Tuesday.
Sure. So people will change their sideboards by like 4 cards. It'll be bad again.
Tron's great. But I would agree with Ross, though. I think prowess. I think decks that are like focused on like kind of like one creature, and they're vulnerable to removal. So Prowess falls in that. Infect would fall in that. Like maybe the Hammer Time deck even falls in that a little bit too.
The Hammer Time deck has a lot of inherent card advantage. That's what really helps it out.
I agree, but like I think that like all the Ragavan decks are just so well suited to kill creatures to the point where like they're just cutting their counter spells and cutting everything else to try and win the Ragavan Wars, stuff like that, which is why I think Tron's really good right now. And we found that in the match that me and Corey played, where he just had all these extra kill spells and less counter spells and so on. So I think if you're playing a deck that's really focused on like one creature and having it be a really important creature, it's kind of a bad place to be.
Okay, there you go.
What's up, Goober? Goober's a sub in my stream.
I will be on the play here for game number 2. See if I can do a little bit better here.
Imagine the post-board games would be a lot more interesting. So.
Yes, and my hand is very solid. I will keep it.
Man, I'm mulliganing my Island Mutavault hand. I'm not playing your deck, so Island Mutavault not an okay mana base.
I've kept a lot of Island Mutavault hands with this deck.
Yeah.
Sometimes to my own detriment.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that if I had to play this format over again, the one Nykthos that ever played in this deck's mana base would just be 21st Island.
Yeah, I can see that.
I like the Nykthos. It didn't come up that often. I did once make 9 black mana with it. I had 3 Nightvale Specters in play.
That's pretty cool.
And I cast a Grey Merchant off of one of the Nightvale Specters.
All right, that's pretty sweet. That's a cool one.
And drained them for 11.
Yeah, Nightvale Specter was the non-easy Thief of Sanity.
Yeah.
It didn't get the ability to cast everything else. All right, so we're gonna have to keep this one, and I'll just bottom that.
I'll play an Island to pass.
Definitely not going to see Ross firing it out nearly as hard out of the gate this time with no 1-drops. So
certainly not. I will play a Frostburn Weird and pass the turn.
All right, so play islands. There you
go. Play Island, attack for 1.
No blocks.
Take 1.
19.
I will play a Nightvale Specter.
It's going to resolve.
Pass the turn. If you watch the match we played in Providence, it was Nightvale Specter in game 2 that did the heavy lifting. I believe in 4 hits, I hit White Source, Elspeth, Dispel.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. All right. Alpha untapped, go.
I will play an island and attack.
No blocks.
I guess I shouldn't play the island first. I could hit a land off your deck. Gotta get back in the swing of things like this. Yeah, just 3.
Okay.
You go to 16, trigger the Spectre. Oh, perfect.
Must be nice.
I am going to take 2 and play Jace.
18. Fortunately, it resolves.
So I'm at 18. I will -2 this Jace.
Yep.
Not a great set of hits here.
I'd almost rather you have the Tidebind. This is instant sorceries, right? Guess that's it.
Pretty sure I was going to take whatever you put the land with, because the creatures are pretty close in what they do. So this goes on the bottom, right? Yeah.
Would you take in land over 2 creatures?
I'm not sure. I think I would take the 2. I think I was taking the 2 no matter what.
Yeah. I think they given the fact that you hit a land off my thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I'll pass the turn.
All right. This has been a pretty anemic draw on my part, unfortunately. Definitely did not pan out super well. All right, we'll play our own Jace. We're going to plus.
Yep.
And then say go.
Ooh, that's a cool one. Okay, I'm going to attack you with the Nightvale Specter.
So 15.
Yep, trigger it. That's a cool one. Ready to hit my Elspeth now.
Yeah.
I'll plus my Jace.
Flashbacks.
And I will play a very large Thassa.
Okay.
And I'll pass the turn.
All right. Well, this is going to resolve. but let's see if it's good enough. I'll play Archangel plus Jace, and don't rapid frog me.
Fortunately, I don't have it. Upkeep, I'll scry.
Yep.
Let's put that one to the bottom. So I can just deal with the Jace here because of Thassa making things indestructible. It's going to cost me a lot to do that. I'll just have to tap out, but I think getting the Jace off the battlefield is worth quite a bit. So I'm going to show you that I top decked a rapid hybridization because I'm the best. I literally told you that I was going to draw them at the right time. I was not lying.
Couldn't start your turn with that. All right, I got a frog.
Slow rolls are a big part of versus live. Okay,
That's fair. Is this exiled or destroys it?
it just dies. Yeah, it's just destroyed.
Unbelievable.
So now I will make the two grounders unblockable, Thassa and Frostburn, and then we can pump the weird so that when it gets shrunk, it's still a 1. So this will be a 1, this will be a 1, this will be a 4. And I will send it at your Jace, and then I will plus my Jace because now you only have 3 power coming back at it, and I will pass the turn.
All right, untap.
Spectre, of course, doesn't trigger because it's only when it hits players, not planeswalkers.
Yeah, how many cards?
I have 5.
All right, 15, huh? We got some work to do this game. We got some work to do. And we will start there.
So Jace to 2 after the trigger shrinks it.
Just going to gain 3, draw 3.
Sounds good. You're at 18.
3. We'd love to do that with an Archangel Thune in play, but you know, you can't always get what you want.
And cards in hand now?
Just 6.
6, okay. Upkeep, I'll scry with the Thassa. I will leave that on top. So do I want to get in with the Frostborn Weird or leave it back to protect this Jace? I can also just cash in the Jace right now and then not have to worry about protecting it and get a little more aggressive, which is somewhat appealing given that this attack could be for 11, which will put Jim to 7. There's not a whole lot that gets him back into this game. Yeah, I'm going to cash in the Jace right now.
Island. Those aren't islands, by the way.
No, I agree they're not. I will take the Biden. I guess I'll cast it.
Yeah, so things are starting to snowball pretty bad here, unfortunately for me. Hand was not great. Definitely lacking early interaction, and our first few draw steps did not really help us out either. Maybe could have gone to 5, honestly, but the game typically slows down post board, so I was hoping that things would slow down a little bit. I could just draw an interactive piece or two, but was not to be.
I can't really turn that down. 3 more cards. I'll get in for 8. Put you to 10. I'll trigger Spectre and draw 3.
Do I cast that?
I don't think I do. I think we'll put that one right there.
Okay.
And then I will play a Mutavault. I will play a Judge's Familiar, and I'll show you 7 cards in my hand.
Untap. All right, you got 7 cards.
Yeah.
Just 7. I'm at 10. Yeah, Biden's pretty annoying also, giving 2 blue devotion for Thassa, making it really, really easy for that to recover.
I don't know if you left in a planar cleansing at all, but
I did not. Attack you.
attack me for 3, I'll go to 15.
All right.
Feels like a verdict.
Yeah, so we're going to cast verdict.
I'll sack Judge's Familiar. Would you like to pay 1?
Decline.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's countered. And then play Azorius Guildgate and say go. Yeah, I think that the Biden was probably one of the best possible cards off the top there, given that it pumps Thassa up, draws the cards, obviously.
I'll put that on the bottom.
If Ross had gone into his turn with 0 or with 1 devotion, I mean, a little more work to get Thassa in.
Yeah. Let's play Tidebinder Mage.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will activate Mutavault.
Yep.
Attack you for 7. Block the Mutavault.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. Take 5, you go to 5, I'll draw a card.
Yep.
And I will pass with 7 cards in hand. Or I played a land, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah.
Divination.
Divination's fine.
Yeah, I'm dead.
Yeah. I don't think you're beating 2 negates.
Yeah. Definitely a tough one. And the opener, yeah, I mean, I think going to 5, I feel like it's the kind of thing where, like, if I was, like, really, really in play, maybe I could familiar with the matchup or whatever, like, maybe I feel like I can do it, but it just didn't seem reasonable, so. I haven't thought about actually 1 Sphinx's Red for one disallow, being back on the play now. So, okay. I think the 4 revs, they're a little hard to resolve through your spells and just, like, a little clunky, and the dissolve's a lot better on the play anyway, so.
And, like, the mono black matchup, you really wanted all 4 of them, because firing it off for 2 was perfectly fine.
Absolutely.
If you're a little out of mana, but yeah. Here you can definitely get caught with too many expensive cards in this matchup.
For sure.
Game 3 again.
All right, marble time.
So for those who don't know what happened in the match that we played in Providence, Jim mulliganed to 5 and missed his 3rd land drop. So if you could do that again, it'd be very helpful.
I feel like the last game we just played was the cross for that game 3. You know, mulligan to 6, and it wasn't super great. So,
but it was also pretty a pretty good analogy from game 2 because I played Nightveil Spectre on turn 3 and hit
2 white
really good cards.
That's true. All right, well, we'll see how it goes.
Just hitting lands is the best thing to hit off Nightveil Spectre early because you immediately get your value. Making land drops in this matchup post board is super important.
Yes.
And now, like when I'm hitting the white cards, I can actually cast them.
Right.
You basically want to hit lands. Once you have 2 white sources, some white cards are good, or your counter spells. Like
absolutely.
Hitting your dispels.
That's a big one for sure.
Yeah.
That's one of your tools in game 1, I think, is if you can spike a Nightveil Spectre and like hit one of my counter spells and have that sort of like post board counter spell in the pre board game. It's really, really big.
Okay, let's play this one real tight. We'll shuffle each other's decks.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Oh, all right then.
Really get in the spirit.
Yeah. Just calling judges. Cutthroat.
We used to have Riki around who would come in and do judge calls live. We couldn't figure anything out. Yeah,
that's cool.
But he is in California now.
Riki's good people. I like Riki a lot.
No, there's not as many people around in the office these days for obvious reasons.
Yes. All right, on the play, game 3.
Good luck, Jimbo.
Easy, bud.
Think I'm going to be mulliganing mine as well.
Good.
If I do, I was ripping off a bunch of lands, I would keep this hand. But,
sure.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Land drop's too important.
Yes. All right. Yeah, as we were saying kind of in the first match, once the game becomes more flashy and counterspells come in, the game shifts, gets a little slower. Land drops are very, very important. Being able to double spell or triple spell on the key turns is very important. That's happening here too. Very, very similar thing where Ross is not just jamming his spells. We're kind of like, that game was a little bit of a snowball, whatever. But the more close games are going to be more about like timing spells, double spelling, making land drops, all very, very important.
Yeah, if you just had like if you just had like a last breath in there in that second game,
right? Something to put you off the, so I have like time to kind of do stuff and get things going.
We're gonna
shuffle again, sure.
Yeah, full on. We're playing for keeps here.
want that trophy if I win.
Okay.
This is unfair to the person who won the tournament, or you beat in the finals, but
Yeah.
still, whatever. I don't care. I just want your trophy anyway. Take all your stuff.
Marbles wants the trophy.
So my hand's really tough. My hand is really tough. I am on the play.
Yeah, mine's a pretty easy keep, and what to put back also pretty easy.
Yeah, definitely would keep this on the draw, no question. On the play, it is certainly tougher. It is certainly tougher. Real squeeze. Going to 5 feels pretty bad. I think I'm going to mulligan, though. Just got... and even if I draw...
That's what you deserve for putting divination in your deck, though.
Yeah. Oh, there was 2. Otherwise, there was 3. Maybe there's even 4. Who knows? You know,
Yeah.
Obviously, I had to land on top, but...
Jim's a big fan of divination.
I like drawing cards, you know. Just a good, honest day's work. It ain't much, but it's a good, honest day's work, you know. Draw some cards.
You know, people are drawing cards these days, but in ways that affect the battlefield. That's kind of the name of the game.
That's true.
The Corsair Crew Fix Tireless Tracker.
Yes.
You know, all the green ways of drawing cards.
Ragavan.
Yeah.
This divination does look kind of silly next to Ragavan, doesn't it? All right.
Looks kind of silly next to a lot of things.
It's
You
true.
know, Underworld connections from that format. Most of the Domri raid.
Domri missed half the time.
Yeah.
Also was playing against me. And I definitely lost to a number. It was, as Elvish Mystic was also in the format, so turn 2 Domri raid in the play was always my kryptonite.
I did that to a lot of people.
All right. On 5. We're keeping. Now, I think this one just needs to go, even though it's kind of sweet. The problem is we kind of like have to keep this because we're just down so many cards, even though this is pretty nice. We're going to be a little greedy here. We're going to do this. And I think we'll have a little faith here. And then realistically on 5 cards, you just got to be, you can't have everything you want. So you got to just hope to figure it out.
You know you're going to need some help.
All right. Temple of Enlightenment.
Oh, there you go. There's a little help.
Top has been called.
Island and Vess.
Go.
Island, Frostburn, weird.
I will syncopate.
Pass the turn. 18. This is a divination.
This is going to be a divination turn, yes. Most of Ross's major threats cost 4, so happy to just draw 2 here.
You're up. Should be a good turn for Nightveil Spectre.
That's good. That's good. Creatures are also easier to answer to, which is nice, so...
Also a good turn for Mutavaul to go.
Sure.
Sure, Jim, very happy to see that.
All right, so go.
Island go.
Ross probably identifying when a control player misses their land drop, you never cast a spell. All right, go.
Island. Do I want to cast a spell now?
A coward or a warrior? What do you want to tell the audience?
Which one would be the coward and which one the warrior? You literally just got done telling them that it was good that I didn't cast a spell after you missed your land drop.
Yeah, but if you're brave and bold, you just freaking do the thing. You don't think about doing the thing, you just do it.
How does this play out from here?
I don't know if I want to know the answer to that question, so get some running lands here. Be nice.
Yeah, I'm going to play Master of Waves.
All right, I will syncopate for 2.
I will dispel your syncopate.
Okay. So you have one
horsey.
One horsey.
Yeah, I don't know why the elementals were horses, but...
Yep.
The cool thing now is that my Mutavault can't get Last Breath, so I guess my Master would get Last Breath at that point. I will play an island, activate Mutavault.
Yep.
Declare attacks.
Yep.
Send with everybody.
That is 8?
7. 2, 2, and 3.
Oh, it's 2, right? Yeah.
Yep.
High no blocks.
No effects. You go to 11.
Yep.
Pass the turn.
Sphinx is drive for 1.
Resolves. You go to 12.
Mm-hmm. Go.
Island, Bident of Thassa.
I can only imagine this is not going to resolve, but
You will dissolve, I will dissolve your dissolve.
yeah, pretty tough games here.
So what am I worried about right now? Archangel would be annoying. This is a cool card to have, though. I wouldn't mind it, though. It's not going to be very good against Archangel. You got 4 in hand.
Yep.
I'm still going to leave it and attack for 4. Put you to 8 and draw 2.
Yep.
And I'll pass the turn.
Draw an untapped land here. Like, maybe I have a chance. Plus.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. There we go. Come on, Jerry, help me out, bud. Of course, I am shields down now, so do your worst, I suppose.
Well, I've got another Mutavault.
Okay.
And then I will play a Nightveil Spectre.
Okay. 2 cards left?
2 cards. And I will pass the turn.
What does Biden do? Like, force things to attack, right?
Yes.
Okay. Kind of a weird secondary text in that card. Thinking about it, but let's draw. All right. Let's start this party off with a divination. How every good party should start.
Divination's good.
1, 2. Plus.
Yep.
Combat.
I would like you to attack. For 4 blocks, activate the Mutavault that's old.
Mm-hmm.
And I will block 2 of them and take 1. Puts me to 19.
Love to have a verdict here, but I do not. I'll cast divination again.
Yep.
Seems to be all I'm capable of drawing. 1, 2. Temple. Bottom. You're up.
At this point, I really want a Thassa. And I think I'm going to be willing to give up quite a bit to get it. So right now, I can fire up both Mutavaults and have 5 attacking creatures. The Nightveil Spectre is obviously going to get in, and then you can, chump the 2 Mutavaults and block Master Waves and just take 2 from the Elemental, which will then go away when the Master dies. I guess you're at 8, so you can't, because these will be blocked. So that'll put you to 4. And then I think I'll just win that race. Because actually, like, that race is also fine. Yeah, fire up both Mutavaults.
Sure.
Get in with everybody, all of you.
I'll block, as you said. So
yeah,
1 of each there. This is here.
Yep.
So I take 4 total.
Yep. Trigger the Nightveil Spectre. So you're at 4.
So 4, trigger
And I
Night
draw
Veil.
2.
I told you it's the only card in the deck, so...
Yeah. I will cast it.
Yep.
I will then play an island and pass the turn.
Untap. You have... Oh my god.
I have 6 cards in hand.
You only had 1 before.
No.
That's so many cards now. All right, so... Get my Jerry's. I'm at 4. A healthy, happy 4.
Yes.
Three. I guess I want to get in with the one non-summoning sick Jerry.
Brings me to 18.
18. Did I miss a point?
You got in 1 last turn, right?
Oh, right, because the one that
Yeah.
got through, right?
Yep.
Okay, so 18 to 4.
Note the Jerry's do say lifelink on them, but the tokens from Elspeth do not have lifelink.
Right, yeah. Okay. That would be nice. I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, I'll play Plains to go.
Drop. I will play a Judge's Familiar.
Sure.
Do I want to fire up these Mutavaults? You could like trade for one.
Once again, are you a coward or a warrior?
How many cards?
Just 5.
5.
He had 4 divinations in his deck?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Attack with Night Veil Spectre at you.
I will go to...
You go to 2. I'll draw a card and trigger the Spectre.
All right.
Play a land.
Yep.
3, 7. I have 9 mana up. And yeah, I will pass the turn.
Sphinx's Rev for 3.
I will negate that.
I will dispel your negate.
I will negate your dispel.
Okay. So you got 2 left now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4. All right, so untap. So Bite of Thoughts here is being unbelievably annoying because I could ultimate my Elspeth and have 4 3/3 flyers, but obviously the Bite would force them to attack. So, you still have the Dissolve too.
Yes, which I left up in case you have. Yeah, you just have the 1 spell.
Yeah, I'm surprised the game ended up being sort of close, given how bad my hand was early on. But
yeah, I mean, Elspeth is a messed up card.
yeah, those are pretty tough games. Like the missed land drops are just absolutely devastating in a matchup like this.
Yeah, and in games 2 and 3, I just didn't miss land drops.
Right, and then like the ability where what Ross did was just don't play a spell until you feel like you can like really just have set up absolutely perfectly. There's no impetus on you to do actual anything until it's perfect for you to do so.
Yeah,
and then I'm kind of stuck here. And I also just like was incapable of drawing a removal spell in either one of these games. No last breaths, no Zorius Charms, no like. There's no cheap interaction point that like would allow me to kind of like play back at you a little bit from the early game and small ball stuff.
No way to force me to keep tapping out for things.
Right, like I had no way to kind of small ball you and then can I get to the mid game? It's just like couldn't find them. So thought cards are verdict. But, yeah, it's definitely some tough pair of games there to end it out.
A verdict probably would have ended it. Because then you get to get rid of my flyer, make soldiers afterwards,
right,
and then ultimate and take over.
Yeah, it's funny because like I guess the Biden and the Night Veil are also bolt drawing cards, but like if my life been a little higher, like maybe I have enough time to resolve this or resolve that. But hitting the dissolve too off of the Night Veil kind of like sealed things up also because I had the second rev, so I was able to make you waste 2 spells in your turn. Hopefully on tap and I can rev again, get a few life points, but.
Yeah, you just tap out for the other rev if I don't hit anything off that Spectre, and I didn't have another counterspell in hand. I had like Big Jace, which wasn't that good at that point, and I had a rapid hybridization.
Sure.
And then and so the dissolve was critical, and we talked about that. Hitting you want to hit counterspells and lands.
Absolutely.
So Nightveil Spectre, hit the cards it needed to, and unfortunately you get a little deja vu.
Yeah. It's funny. I mean, it's like we were saying, like all that matters is making the land drop stuff too. So like lands and the counterspells. The fact that they're so important on Nightveil Spectre further hammers home why we're so important in the matchup too. So
yeah. So that match actually did not take as long as I thought. It's about 10 of. So if we have some questions from the audience, we can take a few questions before wrapping this show.
Let's see here. I think I had one. This was from earlier on, but Tonkosley asked, "What do you guys think of Enchantress in Modern?"
So the Enchantress deck I think is really cool. I like that it exists. It is not operating at an efficient enough level to ever be, I think, a major contender. I think if you gave the deck, wild growth like it has in Legacy, so you have 2 of those accelerants, that might change. That's kind of the thing it needs to speed the deck up a little bit and get it playing on par with the rest of the top decks in the format. But I like the lists that overload on the protection cards, like Greater Oromancy and Sterling Grove. They all play 4 Sterling Grove because that card's bonkers. Right. But I like overloading on Oromancies too, because I think if you're not going to be able to get things out efficiently, you need to stop your opponent from playing their efficient interaction. And so if you're able to do that, and then you can kind of pillow fort up or go way over the top, making a bunch of extra mana with Nyx Weaver and things like that. Is it Sanctum Weaver? That's Nyx Weaver is the thing that like mills stuff.
Yeah.
It is an enchantment creature though, Nyx Weaver. So
close enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the way I would build it if that's a deck you're interested. I think it's one of those tier 2 fringe decks. If you want to play it at FNM, if that's your style, go for it because it can definitely win some games. But I would be overloading on protection because if you're just playing your stuff out and hoping your opponent doesn't interact, that's not a good place to be. But if you're playing your stuff out and just sort of hoping to race and stopping them from interacting, that's a strategy that can actually be implemented and win games against these hyper-efficient modern decks because the format is just so low-curved right now.
Yeah, I think the big thing is that in Legacy, like you're saying, is Wild Growth as well, and then Agathorian Enchantress is Shroud, of course. I think the fact that Sithis and the fact that Sanctum Weaver, Sanctum Weaver are both vulnerable to basically everything. I mean, even Stomp can kill it, Unholy Fire without the Delirium. They really die to basically everything, often at a loss of a mana too. And the fact that your Sithis is one of your main engine cards, it's that and Presence are the 2 big engines for as far as drawing cards. So I think that's the kind of thing holding it back is that right now the format is so creature heavy. Everyone's focused on killing Ragavan, but every card that kills Ragavan, well, almost every card, will also kill Sithis and Sanctum Weavers or
Sanctum Weaver.
I keep screwing it up. So you're sort of just taking a lot of like collateral damage from that. It's very, very creature based right now. If things switch to it being a more unfair format, where like I guess like decks like Traumas will kind of get you, but if you're like Storm decks, things like that, where you can like have good pieces against them, and you're kind of able to just do your thing, that'd be helpful as well. But I think it's the big, my big concern with the deck.
And that's why I like overloading on Ornament.
Right, which makes a lot of sense.
So you can go, turn 1 Accelerant, turn 2 Sterling Grove or Oromancy, turn 3, Sithis, Sanctum Weaver, draw a card, and now your turn 4 is going to be bonkers.
Yeah.
And people have prismatic endings, but now they absolutely need to have it. Once you get 2 down, you're all set.
Right.
And you really limit their ability to interact with you if their hand is just full of bolts and unholy heats.
For sure.
Any more?
Yeah, we just got one from Alien a Myth. With Prowess and Blitz decks gone, do you think Bant Spirits is a viable choice?
That's another deck that I think just isn't operating on an efficient enough level. A card like Spell Queller in a format where everyone has a bunch of bolts and unholy heats that are dealing 6 to it is going to end up putting you behind on mana too often. And yeah, you do have some ways to protect with Rattle Chains, and with the Shroud one, Drogskull Captain, you know, that deck already had some problems with sort of clunkiness. You know, when you didn't have Vial, your Noble Hierarch got killed, which often happens in this format.
Right, draw a lot of threes.
Yeah, you end up just having this awkward draw where you're casting, you know, 3 drops and your opponent is casting 1 and 2 drops that are just as powerful, and you end up falling behind because they're able to deploy their spells that much faster, put you in bad positions in the battlefield, force you to make bad blocks, do all those kinds of things. So I think if you're looking to play a sort of low to the ground Aether Vial creature deck, I would go for humans.
Yeah.
I think that deck is a lot better at playing through that interaction just because it's faster at getting to the battlefield. But even then, like, you know, it's your big creatures are just dying more often to these red decks. You know, it used to be that either they had removal that dealt with your big things or they had cheap removal to deal with your stuff on curve. Now they can kind of do both.
Yeah, Unholy Heat is really just a ridiculous card. I mean, it's a card I kind of glossed over in the spoiler, but dealing 6 for 1 just completely upends like what red is usually weak to, as you were saying. You know, like you can just kill just such a wide array of things, even like a Baneslayer or some like much larger creature that normally red deck would be like, or Grimmack Angler, whatever it is, you know, and having the flexibility and then also killing Planeswalkers too. Like, yeah, I agree that the removal suite right now in red is just so efficient and so good.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to play those style of decks just because you're not able to get underneath the mid-range decks at nearly as well as you used to. So it's a tough time for aggro right now in Modern in particular. And what you got to wait for, and it's sort of happening right now, is people are starting to find the go over the top decks that are able to contend and punish the mid-range decks for playing a bunch of creature removal, and that's the Trons. And the, you know, even Elementals, you know, even though it's an all creature deck, is really good at grinding. And they're able to go over the top of the creativity deck that I played in match 1. That's one of the reasons I like it. You know, yeah, the creature removal kind of breaks up your combo, but not if you're careful about it. And it's fine if they have to sit there with a bunch of removal spells up and they're not advancing their battlefield. And then the Bring to Light Scapeshift deck that I played last week actually against Brad, like that. There's a lot of those decks emerging, and the aggro decks should be able to take advantage of those matchups.
For sure.
And you're also seeing, like, I saw Burn a little bit over the last couple of weeks. You know, that's in that realm. So you got to wait for the metagame to shift a little bit, and it is happening right now. It might be there at this point. I don't know.
There's a major like mid-range arms race happening, you know, in all these Grixis decks, the Izzet decks, where they started playing, you know, 4 counter spells and 3 force negations main, and they shave a few because they got to kill more Ragavans. You shave a few because you got to kill more Channelers, you know. It ends up being 2 counter spells, and the forces are on the board, and then of course things become inbred, and then you can exploit that. Yeah,
so you got to pick your spots, I think, with aggressive decks in this metagame. Though that said, like Banned Spirits, that's a deck that's going to need to get an addition or 2 to lower its curve so that it can be on the level of the rest of Modern right now, because it hasn't really gotten anything. You know, since it was a really good deck and got put down by Izzet Phoenix, sorry, not sorry, you know, that deck, it really hasn't gotten, you know, new additions like Shacklegeist, you know, that's just a change on the margins. That's not a huge deal for anyone. It's going to need like another good 1-drop or another good 2-drop, things like that, so where you can really start lowering the curve and playing at a speed that is appropriate for the current Modern metagame. We can take one more and then we'll wrap it up if we got it.
Sure. What do you guys? I'm sorry, this was from Lewandowski Photography. What do you guys think about Golgari and Thect right now?
I think it's the same thing I was saying earlier, where the deck seems sweet, it's cool, you know, and the fact that you have a Phyrexian Crusader, which is pro red and pro white, right?
Yep.
So that is pretty nice. Obviously, Unholy Heat, and then of course Prismatic Ending, to the biggest spells in the format. But at the same time, like I don't think I'm happy trying to put all my eggs in one basket. You know, between discard spells, a plethora of removal spells, all these cheap interactive spells. It just feels like a really hard time of doing that. You know, Infect's usually good when Tron is good, or Balakid is good, or you know, Storm, non-interactive decks, and everyone's interacting on so many axes right now.
But as the metagame is shifting in that direction, I could see that being a good deck to capitalize, because it's a deck that is still going to be fast enough to beat up on the go over the top decks, but now it has a sort of secret weapon even in the remaining fair matchups that are around in Phyrexian Crusader. So you know, your matchup spread isn't going to be quite as polarized, but you're going to be taking advantage of the over the top decks. You're probably not going to be ahead against the, you know, Unholy Heat Bolt decks, but there are going to be plenty of games where you go like turn 1 Noble Hierarch, they play Ragavan or Ignoble Hierarch, and then you play Phyrexian Crusader, and the game's over.
For sure, yeah. I do think that Golgari seems much better than Simic right now,
Yes.
for sure.
So that's an interesting one to me. A matchup that you would probably have to solve that seems pretty bad is Elementals. Though they don't enter, I guess all their removal is red and white still.
It's Solitude, Fury.
Solitude, Fury, and sometimes Teferi or Ren and 6. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
so, and it's pro. A lot of their blockers are red and white too, especially the big ones in Omnath, Fury, and Solitude. So,
Sure.
Yeah, so you're even good there. So that's a deck that interests me because I think it can, instead of being hopeless or near hopeless in those red matchups, you at least have something that you can lean on. Like, maybe they stumble and have a weak draw, maybe you have a really good draw, just like come out firing. Or maybe you're just able to land Phyrexian Crusaders and ride those to victory. So the fact that you have a plan and you're taking advantage of another portion of the metagame makes that a much more intriguing choice to me.
I agree.
Okay, that's going to wrap it up for our questions. We got a couple remaining orders of business. I guess we got to thank subs, so we'll start with that.
Let's see here. We had Zarka resubscribed for. This is their 25th month, so thank you very much.
That is the only sub for this one?
That's what we got today.
Perfect. So we appreciate that, and we appreciate all of that support. And if you'd like to support Star City Games in another way, you can join SCG Premium. $7.99 a month will get you access to exclusive content from our wonderful staff of content creators, as well as some other perks, which are 5% off of sealed product, 10% off of singles, and 15% off of supplies. So head on over to starcitygames.com/join-premium and sign up today. Jim, you got the next one, right?
Basic land sale, 15% off.
Yeah, I guess we could do that one. Yeah, Star City Games weekly sale is going to be on Basic Lands, as Jim said, 15% off. So you can find all the information on that at starcitygames.com/sale, and that will go until this coming Monday at 10:59 a.m. Eastern time. So you still got a few days to get in and get some sweet basics for your decks once Paper Magic is returning. You gotta have a good basic lane.
What's your land of choice?
Mirage.
Mirage lands. Those are. I used to use those. I've been kind of on Portal lands lately.
That's my other one. Portal Second Age though. Portal Second Age is better than Portal 1. The art on them is incredible.
I don't know which ones I have, but
Portal Second Age has a little like pentagon kind of thing.
Yeah, I think I have mostly those.
Portal 1 is the actual portal. And then obviously P3K.
I think you're right, Second Age. Yeah, I mean, I just picked the ones that had the cool arts.
Yeah,
but
Portal Second Age has Portal art is still good, but Portal Second Age art is chef's kiss.
They also just have the Mirage lands are awesome. I actually might like the art on the Mirage lands better. But something about the art looking a little unfamiliar just feels nice, so it feels a little more exotic without being absurdly expensive.
I also dabble with invasion lands. Urza Saga has good lands.
Yeah, Urza Saga Island.
Yeah,
not the lightning one.
No, I like the lightning one.
The one with the kind of the rainbow in the sky. It's a very slight rainbow. It's like a C-shaped island.
Yeah, I know that one too.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and then the Odyssey Thundercloud Plains.
Sure.
If I'm a mono white deck, it's that.
It's an easy one.
Yeah, every time. Next order of business is going to be the SCG Tour online. That is back now. Are we running this week? No.
Don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not. I think we're off this week, but we'll be back next week.
I am double checking that for you now.
Yeah, we'll clarify that, but for now I'll go through it for those who are unfamiliar. So how this works is on weeks where it's going, during the week there are going to be, on Friday and Saturday, there are 8, challenger events. I can't remember what they call them. Preliminaries. They call them something. And they're 6-rounders. If you go 4 and 2 or better, you qualify for the Sunday championship qualifier. And then if you go 5 and 1 or 6 and 0 in them, you'll get 1 or 2 buys respectively. So each win over 4 will get you a buy in the Sunday event. And then you do well enough in the Sunday event, and you qualify for the Invitational at SCG Con coming up at the end of October. So a nice big Paper Magic event that'll be super fun. You're still competing for a bunch of gems and other wonderful prizes. You can find all the information there at starcitygames.com/SCG Tour online.
And sure enough, you're right. We're off this coming up weekend, but it's coming back Friday, August 27th.
So the end of August, we'll have some more running there. And you're definitely going to want to qualify for that invitational in October. It's going to be a great time. We're going to be running some pickup basketball.
It's on my to-do list. I gotta find some time to do that.
Going to be great. So check that out, and we appreciate all participation there. Now, with the return of Paper Magic, there is the matter of acquiring cards for these tournaments. So if you need to get rid of some of your old cards, buy some new cards, update that collection, Star City Games is always buying cards, and the process has never been easier because there are so many ways to do it. You can use the buy list feature on the website. You can mail your cards in to SCG and let them do the work for you. You can make an appointment and come into the store to do your business in person, or if your collection is big enough, you can make that appointment and have Star City Games come to you. So pick whichever method works best for you, and do keep in mind that you will get a 30% bonus on all trade-ins that are for store credit. And then the last order of business, we would like to thank our sponsor, Coalesce Apparel. If you like the shirts that we wear, in this case, we had to wear the Jim Davis Pile Driver shirts all week for Jim Davis Week. You can find this shirt and their entire collection of shirts, hoodies, and stickers at coalesceapparel.shop. And be sure to use the gift code SCG when checking out to get 10% off of your purchase there as well. Well, Jim, it's been a pleasure for me having you here. Maybe not so much for Corey.
Yeah.
Corey has to house you and feed you, and
true.
I just get to show up and beat you at tennis and beat you at Magic and everything. I beat you at ping pong. It's really great.
Tonight in poker, I would not enter many hands with me. I plan on taking all your money. I need some redemption now. I'll do it monetarily if possible.
That just makes me want to get into hands with you because you're not going to be thinking straight.
That's the point.
Yeah. He's trying to
His eyes are red. Stop beating me and everything.
Yeah. So lovely having you here in the Versus Live studio.
Thank you for having me, of course.
Yes, we'd love to have you back anytime. Yeah, please keep coming. We'll keep playing these redemption matches.
Yeah.
I'll keep showing you up. It'll be great. This is the first time I've won the marbles on Versus Live in like 2 months, so I'm on top of the world right now.
He paid me off. He was like, Jim, listen, you got to beat Corey, which I'm sure you can do, and then you should punt to me and then give me the marbles back because he just hasn't had it for so long. So I obliged. I obliged.
Jim, please don't tell Corey.
Oops.
Okay, that is going to be it for Versus Live. Had a wonderful time here, strolling down memory lane with Jim. We're going to be back to our regular, regular hosts.
Non-Jim show?
Yeah. The regular old boring me and Corey.
Yeah, exactly.
Next week. It'll be back to the same old. Same time, same place, 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern time here on the Star City Games Twitch channel on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we will see you then. But for now, we had Justin in the booth. I'm Ross Merriam, and that's Jim Davis. Thanks for watching.